Arlong menacingly holds two of his sword's blades at Luffy's neck, expressing his ruthless ambition to obtain all the world's charts. As with these documents, he aims to establish dominance, making the entire world his territory.
And at this very moment, Arlong, like your other henchmen, you talked too much. And you brought him in the worst possible situation. You're going to lose this fight. No difficulty now. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day we're going to see if One Piece fans can read, because we know Dragon Ball fans can't. We know Naruto fans hate what was written. We know JJK fans apparently hate what was written. Do One Piece fans even understand what was written, let alone do they like it? Today we're going to be reviewing Arlong Park. We're going to do this whenever I get to certain major arcs in the One Piece series. We're going to watch it first, and then we're going to reread it, and we're going to see which adaptation was better, the original or the anime. Arlong Park was a fantastic, in my opinion, for the anime. I'm not going to lie. I had a blast. I saw Luffy curb stomp this. I seen that scene with Nami. Look, Manga. I'm not saying it's impossible. That's going to be a hard one to beat. That's gonna be a hard one to beat. I'm not gonna lie. All right, but let's get to it. Shout out to Geek Piece, the creator of this video. Side note:
after the events of the Baratie arc, sailing the open waters, our adventurers bid farewell to the Baratie, now accompanied by Sanji, the esteemed sea chef who has officially joined Luffy's crew. Luffy eagerly anticipates finding Nami and embarking for the Grand Line, but Sanji tempers his enthusiasm, wondering if it can be done with such a small crew. He mentions that he'll gather more members when they arrive to the Grand Line, mentioning that it's paradise, leading Sanji to assert that it's the pirate's graveyard. Luffy, however, cheerfully recalls Zeph's words that for some people—
So first things first, I've never seen One Piece manga a day in my life. This art style is not bad. This is interesting. It's like smooth. Does that make sense? It's like smooth, like literally smooth, you know?
Yosaku regarding the dangers of this treacherous sea. He proceeds to inform the two the reason behind why the Grand Line is known as the pirate's graveyard, as there are three great powers that rule those waters. He explains that one of those powers are the seven warlords of the sea. The seven warlords of the sea, as officially recognized by the government, are a group of seven formidable and infamous pirates who have forged an alliance with the world government to preserve balance in the world. In return for their assistance, the government grants them the authority to navigate the seas and target fellow pirates, provided they share a portion of their plunder as compensation. Yosaku anxiously reminds them of Mihawk, stating that he's one of the seven warlords of the sea. To make
that nigga Mihawk is so fucking gangster for zero reason. That nigga Mihawk is a fucking thug, bro.
Matters worse, he mentions a problem with the seven warlords, Jinbei, the leader of the Fishman pirates. In return for joining the ranks of the seven warlords, Jinbei released a formidable threat upon the East Blue. Yosaku elaborates that they're currently headed for Arlong Park, mentioning that Arlong used to be Jinbei's equal. He issues a warning to Luffy and Sanji that Don Krieg's power doesn't even compare to that of Arlong's, making him look like a weakling. Sanji questions how he knows that Nami is headed in that direction, as Yosaku mentions that he and Johnny have a hunch. Yosaku further elaborates that his earlier suspicions arose from a certain
you
incident.
banned. I don't know what is to be bespoiled, but please, for the love of God, I guess have self-control. I don't know. Foreshadowing, but yeah, I guess niggas can do that. Fair enough. I guess niggas might see a hint as to something for somebody that's not even fucking, like, I've never even known fucking existed type shit. Yeah, I guess. I can see that.
He communicates of Nami's weird behavior earlier
Just put it
at
as
the
a pin
Baratie
message.
and her odd gravitation towards a copy of Arlong's wanted poster. Regardless, he states it was no coincidence, as there's some connection between the two. With Luffy and Sanji informed, they disregard his warning, and the two, with the help of Yosaku, sail towards Arlong Park in search of Nami. In the meantime, we transfer to the northwestern province of the East Blue, within the confines of Arlong Park, that's led by Arlong.
That flag is hard.
A deal is struck between him and Navy Captain Nezumi, as Arlong compensates him for the month. Across the table,
even when they draw him, that little rat-looking motherfucker ugly as shit. Even in the manga, they draw the rat art. They make that nigga ugly even in, like, the manga. That nigga's a bitch. I hate him.
Arlong laughing is a fishman of significant size and muscular build, with the prominent saw-shaped nose as his most notable feature. With their business concluded, Nezumi—
this piece of shit fuck I can't stand because I just think he's annoying. I just want to beat him up. This nigga I can't stand because he's that fucking evil, and that's a difference. Like, I actually fuck with Arlong. This nigga, though, fuck him.
insists on hastening his departure before his ship attracts any unwanted attention. Arlong, although not fond of humans, insists on Nezumi to stay and unwind, merely proposing to eliminate anyone who dares to report him. Nezumi, however, declines once more, preparing to leave with his men. By his captain's orders, Arlong's first mate Hachi is instructed to tow Nezumi and his men to their ship, telling them to get into the pot, ready to depart from the island. Having said that, outside Arlong Park at the east gate, Nami is confronted by a child in a blind rage, seeking revenge on Arlong for murdering his father. With a knife in his hand, he warns Nami to get out his way or he'll attack, as she stares at him with an uncanny look. She uses her weapon to forcefully strike the child with—
Nami's a pub stomper. Can we talk about it? And for those that don't know what the term pub stomper is, Nami ain't like this with nobody that's built different. But if you just like a little tot, if you're just like weak as fuck, oh, Nami will try to beat the shit out of you just because Nami's a pub stomper, bro.
Without hesitation, sending him to the floor before tossing him money, telling him
to stand on my man's though?
Return home as he's in distraught. Nami proceeds to enter through the gates where she's met by Arlong, who's happy to see her. He inquires about her recent endeavor, leading Nami to label it as a success. The Arlong pirates, excited, are ordered by their captain to prepare a celebratory feast for Nami's return. In a surprising twist, Nami is revealed to be one of the senior officers among Arlong's pirate crew and the only human whom he places complete trust in.
That shit fucked me up, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, oh my God, so she's a rat. But then it was like weird. And maybe that's because I'm so far behind on One Piece that I was like, she has to just inevitably become a good guy, right? But like, no way, like something up, bro. This don't make no fucking sense. Nami, of all things, Kim, possible? No way, bro. That shit had me so fucking mad, bro. But Nami would then go on to have, like, in my personal opinion, the best backstory. In my personal opinion, at least, this backstory gets crazy. Or the second best. I don't know. I really like Zoro's as well.
In the meantime, Zoro, Usopp, and Johnny safely arrive at the outskirts of Arlong Park, with an ominous presence looming closer as they
So
approach.
far, glaring similarities, though. The anime didn't
wonders where Nami
drift off too
the
much.
Ship. Out of the blue, Zoro, ready for action, inquires if they should cut everyone in sight to gain entry. Johnny and Usopp, displeased, both deny his intentions as they don't know anything about their location. Before long, they discover the ship anchored in the distance at a weird spot, discovering that it's docked near Coco Village. To prevent Zoro from recklessly storming into Arlong Park, Johnny and Usopp tie him up so he doesn't ruin their plan. With their sights set on the ship, Usopp suddenly becomes brave, knowing that they don't have to visit Arlong Park. Yet after the three get closer to the ship, he notices three fishmen standing at a dock next to it, alerting their attention, scaring Usopp and Johnny after being spotted. The two try to play it cool, casually sailing past the fishmen, hoping they won't pursue, angering Zoro as he tells them that they missed their destination. With them not seeing eye to eye, Usopp, scared for his life, tells Zoro of the fishmen being Arlong's pirates. Unexpectedly, the fishmen, catching onto their scheme, dive into the ocean to pursue them, putting Usopp on high alert. He and Johnny hastily abandon ship, leaving Zoro isolated and defenseless. As the fishmen board the ship,
in hindsight, that was pretty fucking stupid of Usopp and what's his name. In hindsight, why would he jump off of the ship into the water while leaving Zoro tied up? First of all, them niggas would just be like in the water, there's ship. Let's kill that guy. Anyway, back to the ship. So, like, low-key, all three of them could have got squad wiped here, hypothetically. And, like, they could have just got squad wiped for no reason. Instead of just cutting Zoro and just like, running behind Zoro and just asking him to 2v3 or 1v3 even, which he's Zoro. My glorious king would have made it out of there alive.
They discover Zoro tied up, deciding to take him to Arlong. Usopp and Johnny make their way towards dry land, pulling themselves out of the sea, and are suddenly overwhelmed by a shocking revelation. They discover Gosa Village, a destroyed and ravaged outpost, all from Arlong's doing a few weeks ago. With the village in ruin, Usopp mentions all of the houses being flipped upside down. Johnny, uneasy, remarks about the toughness of fishmen having 10 times the strength of humans. Johnny clarifies to Usopp that the power demonstrated on the village is the type of strength that's to be expected from the Grand Line, elaborating on how this unfortunate event happened to a village that defied Arlong before abruptly dashing away, unbeknownst to Usopp. Unexpectedly, one of the fishmen has come back to the village, appearing behind Usopp, harboring suspicions about Zoro being by himself. This terrifies Usopp and he makes a run for it at high speed as the fishman chases in pursuit.
This
even
nigga
though Johnny manages to safely
so he's just always cartoonishly running the fuck away no matter what. Like, I thought the anime kind of played into it more. myself thinking that either one, the anime needed to fill time, or two, that they just have to really exaggerate how much of a fucking coward he is. But no, he's just this level of a motherfucking troll in the series. And I said in the anime, we'll see how the manga is as well. But my main concern for Usopp's character is when it goes from trolly to, man, we're halting the story now, gango. You feel me? So let's see. Hopefully he grows out of this one day.
He decides to wait for Luffy and Yosaku. As Usopp continues to run, he's met by a kid mistaking him for a fishman, tripping him up, causing Usopp to lose balance and fall. With his sword in hand, he prepares to kill Usopp, but is suddenly interrupted by a woman behind him. Nojiko, a woman from Coco Village, alerts the kid Chabo from Gosa Village that Usopp is a human, although barely. As the fishman is on the verge of reaching the three, Usopp decides to summon his courage and protect the two, preparing to use his slingshot to attack. Without notice, Nojiko whacks him in the back of the head, knocking him out as he falls to the floor. In the meantime, within the outskirts of Coco Village, in Nojiko's home, Usopp, alarmed, wakes up with Nojiko and Chabo close by. Usopp inquires about the fishman as well as her name as she responds that they escaped, then fully introduces herself as Nojiko, mentioning that she grows tangerines.
Type shit.
Usopp, angry, wants to know why she knocked him out and protected a fishman, yet Nojiko says that she saved his life and that outsiders wouldn't understand. She turns to Chabo, mentioning that no one confronts the fishman because doing so would be suicidal. Seeking revenge, he fully understands the consequences, explaining that the fishman unleashed monsters upon his town, destroying it and killing the townspeople within it, including his father. He recalls a member of Arlong's crew stating,
"It's always the pops going out sad." No, let me take that back. Some characters are definitely driven by their mother, so let me take that back. But I will say, the way that these shark niggas just pulled up and just took over, you would have think the whole motherfucking city would have just crashed out, right? But like, they really beat this whole fucking village into submission. That is, like, I'm really just thinking about it. Like, you live life. You just going to the bank, getting some Chick-fil-A, grocery shopping, laying down at home, whatever. And then just a bunch of motherfuckers pull up. Yeah, this is my shit. And they low-key back it up. like these niggas entirely run the fade with anybody who detests what they say, and they win 10 out of 10, no difficulty every time. That's scary, bro. What the fuck?
That she's a witch, expressing hatred, catching Nojiko's attention. She tells Chabo to get his revenge and get killed in the process, shocking the two as if he doesn't value his own life, then neither will she. Nojiko mentions that she once knew of a kid who faced a life even worse than death, but chose to live anyway despite their misfortune. She angrily mentions the sight of seeing a cowardly kid who's too scared to live makes her sick to her stomach. Chabo, full of tears, asks for advice on what he should do before accepting that he'll endure his pain. Nojiko asks if he has a mother, which he responds that he does. She then encourages him to go home back to his mother as she must be worried about him. Chabo comprehends this reality, leaving the house by choosing to reunite with his mother instead of pursuing vengeance. Usopp realizes that Nojiko means no harm and introduces himself, informing her that he is in search of a woman named Nami. After a brief explanation shocking Usopp, Nojiko reveals that Nami is affiliated with the Arlong pirates, jogging his memory of Chabo's previous remark about a so-called witch. She reveals one more detail, that this is the house Nami grew up in, as well as the two being related, although they're stepsisters. At Arlong Park, the gates are open following the announcement of a suspicious individual as Zoro in bondage is taken to Arlong himself. Moving back to Nojiko, she elaborates on her relationship with Nami as the two were orphans growing up in this very house. She continues that the one who raised them is dead, as years ago the three of them lived happily.
I'm gonna get used to it eventually, so I'm gonna stop commenting on it now. This nigga's never drawn normal ever. Like, I don't know if the creator of One Piece, the writer of One Piece, whatever, has fun drawing this nigga or is pissed off every time he has to draw this nigga, because this nigga is never just chilling.
And
nigga is a slut. His mouth is always open.
In need of answers, he inquires why Nami would join Arlong's crew since they terrorized the village, seeking to know if she betrayed her own people, and Nojiko sums it up as true. She inquires about Usopp's reasons for seeking Nami. In response, Usopp comes to understand that Nami was fooling them the whole time, as she was only after their treasure. As his blood begins to boil, he questions why Nami had appeared so content to help save his village, as well as her being friendly on the ship, coming to the conclusion that she was only trying to ditch them. Nojiko, intrigued, probes further about Nami's friendliness aboard their ship, just as Usopp angrily mentions that Nami isn't worth finding. With his mind made up, he decides to locate their ship and sail away from the village, a remark Nojiko agrees with, as if he causes trouble with the fishmen, he'll die.
I got a question for niggas. Comment section, chat, anybody. at this point in the series, would you still slide for Nami on some I want answer shit? Or would you just be like, she's an op, fuck her, and leave? This is interesting because they're about to go through a lot of shit for just like vengeance, false belief, or zibes. They could just say, fuck the bitch and leave. They could do that. Now, obviously, the vengeance being, hey, yo, you took my shit. The faith being, yo, I don't think you're a bad person. What the fuck is going on, Nami? Or even just really wanted to know what the fuck is going on, Nami. But I don't know, bro. I could see an argument where Arlong's here, Arlong Park, these fishmen ass niggas, you know what? Gone. Now, in terms of the crew, we know how that goes, and someone in chat typed it. If Luffy with it, we with it. That's why I fuck with Zoro, bro. That nigga Zoro frame one said, oh, that's my captain? I think this is the dumbest shit that I've ever seen. Oh, yeah, get ready, by the way. He said we locked in. I think this is the dumbest shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Zoro don't give a fuck. He can think this shit is just beyond stupid. Luffy say slide, nigga. We sliding. And Luffy 1,000% would still slide. So fair enough, they're going to do it. But it's an interesting conversation on if I personally would do it.
However, when Nojiko points out a ship confirming with Usopp,
or if you personally,
he shockingly wonders how the Going Merry ended up in.
By the way, I'm probably still
sliding. He begins to understand the layout of the island, noticing that they're located in the outskirts of Coco Village, as that's where the fishman confronted them. Suddenly, Nojiko inquires about his distress, and Usopp reveals that he remembers one of his crewmates being captured by the fishmen and is in critical condition, worrying for his safety.
Worrying?
At Arlong Park, Zoro
worrying? You left him to fucking die.
Being questioned as he proceeds with insults, calling someone a dirty half-fish, restating that he's looking for a woman. Arlong warns him to watch his tongue, declaring that he'll let his insults slide, asserting the superiority of fishmen over humans due to their ability to swim underwater and their superior strength. He states that a human fighting a fishman is equivalent to fighting the power of nature itself.
Boy, fuck you.
Afterward, Nami appears much to Zoro's shock, revealing her affiliation with Arlong. Arlong mentions that she's an exception among humans and discloses that she serves as their surveyor. Zoro, connecting the dots, inquires if Nami is affiliated with the fishmen. Arlong questions Nami if there's any familiarity between them, to which Nami responds that he was merely another one of her pawns. Zoro proceeds to ask Nami if this is her true self, and she affirms, responding that it is, confessing that she had been in league with Arlong from the very beginning.
Yo, Nami, when she wants to look like a fucking villain, is really fucking good. I ain't gonna lie. Like, this would have got me. This would have got me, because it did get me, I'm pretty sure, in the anime reaction. This shit would have got me. I'd have been like, man, this bitch.
Following Nami's declaration, Arlong bursts into laughter and labels her as a cold-blooded witch whose sole desire is money, as she even forgave the death of a parent for it. Nami conceals her anguish upon hearing Arlong's comment, catching Zoro's attention. He tells Nami that he never trusted her, as she responds that he needs to forget about her and leave. Zoro discerns this and abruptly takes a surprising leap into the waters, leaving everyone shocked as well as Nami as he's submerged. Arlong, seeing Zoro's life is forfeit, decides to let him drown, but Nami, quick on her feet, dives into the water to save him. As they emerge from the water safely, everyone begins to question Nami's action. She inquires.
These One Piece niggas, though, I say this: Luffy, Zoro, I ain't seen it with Sanji yet. Nami, to a degree, even these niggas are like too okay with like gambling their own life on shit. Like, what if Nami was like actually evil? You were just willing to die for it, Zoro? You were so confident. Now, granted, you were right, but you were so confident that she was Cap that you said, I don't believe this shit, and was willing to kill yourself? Oh my God.
About what he's up to, and Zoro responds by
this
suggesting
is like
that
hell
she
of a
should be the one
gamble.
answering that question, advising her against putting on an act of toughness. He mockingly tells Nami to help him up, but she responds by kicking him out of anger. She warns Zoro to quit playing games, but he sees Nami's words as empty threats. She takes note of the amount of bandages Zoro has, causing him to respond with a smug comment, leaving Nami to punch him in his stomach.
Jesus.
Subsequently, Nami instructs the fishmen to imprison Zoro with the intention of dealing with him at a later time. Not long after, a fishman approaches Arlong and reports reports that a human with a long nose has managed to escape. Zoro and Nami fear that it's Usopp, and Arlong
big squid, never the little one.
Likely in Coco Village, mentioning that he has some business there regardless. In Coco Village, the residents catch wind of Arlong's impending arrival and speculate about his purpose, given that they've already paid their tribute. A resident chimes in, explaining that Arlong probably discovered his weapon, telling everyone to get inside. When Arlong arrives, he questions that same resident if he was responsible for having a sword. Jinzo,
real nigga alert, real nigga alert, real nigga alert, real nigga alert, real nigga alert. I fuck with Unk, bro. I used to think Unk was a bitch. I fuck with Unk. And so far, this is dangerously 1-to-1. Maybe we have like literally an hour, but for the most part, this is dangerously 1-to-1. You know, I'm not really tweaking. This is like a 1-to-1 with the anime.
Scarred, mustached man with a pinwheel in his cap responds by saying that it's a personal hobby of his to collect weapons. Arlong, however, admonishes him, stating that weapons only bring about violence. Usopp, terrified, watching from a distance undetected, interjects, examining Arlong, and is astounded by his appearance as Nojiko clarifies that he's a fishman, deducing that Nami must be at Arlong Park since she's not in the village. Arlong reminds Jinzo of the 20 towns and villages under his protection, stating that he doesn't like
these fish niggas, bro.
Jinzo by invoking the memory of the destruction of Gosa Village due to their
Wait a minute, they probably fucking stink. Oh my god. These fish niggas probably boof. Oh my god. Oh, Arlong Park fucking. Now that I think about it, these niggas smell like a seafood boil by default. Nah. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I'm not saving Nami. The smell alone, I'm not saving Nami, bro.
To not pay their
These niggas probably stink, bro.
What Arlong means when he mentions a tribute. Nojiko
explains
that a tribute involves monthly payments from the villagers
that just
to Arlong
hit me.
to prevent him from ruining their homes and slaughtering them. She elaborates that if even one person in the village fails to pay, the entire village faces destruction, similar to Gosa Village. He's shocked by the revelation as Nojiko mentions that humans are seen as dirt to them, as they think nothing of killing them. Before departing, Arlong urges the villagers to work diligently for money as tribute time is drawing near. He elaborates that their contributions will help build the foundation of his empire, which will rule the East Blue. Meanwhile, back at Arlong Park, Nami sets Zoro free and urges him to escape before Arlong returns. In the village, Usopp confused on Arlong's previous claim about an
The fuck was that?
empire wonders what will happen to his hometown. Nojiko responds that she doesn't know, as all they can do is endure for the time being, leaving Usopp puzzled until they are suddenly alerted of Jinzo. In the center of town, Jinzo's possession of forbidden weapons are discovered by Arlong. He addresses the gathered crowd, emphasizing that such weapons are seen as defiance. Consequently, Arlong asserts that Jinzo will serve as an example, as he'll be killed in front of all the villagers. With Usopp and Nojiko watching undetected from a distance, he's shocked by Arlong's declaration to kill Jinzo. Nojiko, however, is upset and dashes into their direction to confront him. She explains to Arlong how everyone in the village has been loyal to him for 8 years, asserting that they have no intentions to rebel against him. She demands he let Jinzo go, but he doubles down on his intention that he must die. With an evil look, he offers another alternative, that maybe everyone in the village should be slaughtered. The villagers, petrified, are reminded that if any of them lay a single hand on a fishman, he'll kill everyone. Jinzo implores them to return home, as it would render the hardships they've endured over the past 8 years meaningless, reminding them of their previous vow to fight by enduring. With the villagers reminded of his words, Arlong begins his assault on Jinzo, sternly reminding everyone that any attempt at resistance is meaningless as they watch helplessly. Tired of Arlong's antics, a villager prepares to attack, but Jinzo, on the floor bloody, demands that they don't touch Arlong, regardless of what happens to him. The villagers tell Arlong that he never used a weapon, pleading that he be spared, but Arlong only sees it as rebellion. Jinzo implores everyone that if they die, the fishmen win, stating that whatever happens to him, they must continue to live. Arlong uses his monstrous strength, picking Jinzo up, ready to deliver the fatal blow, as the crowd helplessly watches in horror. Just in the nick of time, he's suddenly interrupted by an explosion that lands a direct hit. As Jinzo falls to the floor, the fishmen are in a panic, wondering what happened. They then avert their attention to a nearby roof as Usopp stands on top, shaking
Squidward! You know, you're a confusing man. You let Zoro die, but you shot the big bad fish that was about to, like, not one tap. He could have one tap, but he was about to murder Unk. Then you don't know, but you were just cool letting Zoro die. You're a guy, Usopp.
Good
shit,
he
though.
announces himself as a fearless warrior of the seas before introducing himself as Captain
Good shit,
Usopp.
though.
With the villagers and fishmen alerted of his appearance, he boldly declares that he has 8,000 formidable killers backing him, ready to retaliate if they don't flee. One of Arlong's men announced that he's the stranger that previously escaped, and with his exploding star dealing no damage, Arlong quickly dismisses Usopp's warning. In a fit of rage, he fumes that a worthless human dared to attack him as he sets his sights on Usopp. His anger is intense, and in response to Usopp's taunts, he picks the house up with ease where Usopp is standing. He begins to go on a rampage, obliterating the houses in the village, scaring the surrounding villagers as they stand by.
I just forgot he just did this.
On for dear life, makes his escape, alerting the fishmen as they chase in pursuit. Fearing that their leader will destroy the entire village, which is their source of income, the fishmen restrain Arlong and vow to capture Usopp and bring him to Arlong Park. After Arlong's departure, the fishmen are in pursuit of Usopp as he flees for his life. In the village, with Jinzo safe, Nami appears and is suddenly met with indifference from the surrounding villagers. As a drab atmosphere fills the air, she begins walking through the village with flowers in hand. Nojiko inquires why she's in the village at broad daylight, and Nami responds that she heard noises, noticing that it was Arlong's doing. Soon after, Nami has come to lay flowers on a grave, stating that she needs only 7 million more berries. Nojiko informs her that she's hated throughout the village, and Nami, fully aware, mentions that Arlong's language is money, as he'll stay true to their bargain, mentioning—
Turn it up. So was it turn it up? I mean, I ain't gonna max it. I gotta be able to react. I don't want it to be louder than me.
That soon she'll have what she needs. Nami continues that she'll do whatever it takes to get 100 million berries, as with that, she'll be able to buy back her village. Elsewhere, at Arlong Park, Zoro, who has been freed by Nami, has defeated every fishman in the area, but decides to stay
okay. Yeah, I didn't think it was low.
Deducing that Nami's up to something, noting that things could get dicey. Just
wait a minute, what the
Arlong Park, within its front gate.
Wait a minute. This nigga just casually is just like, oh shit. Bop, 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 bop. Yeah, he would have cucked them niggas if he weren't tied up, bro. My man. This is Farakwa, bro. I know there's Luffy stands. If there's one anime I'm convinced everybody's favorite character is the main character, it's fucking One Piece. The amount of Luffy stands, Straw Hat accounts I see all over the place is crazy. But me, I'm not even just doing it to be different. I'm a Goku fan, nigga, but my man Zoro's a bucket, bro.
Due to his promise to his captain.
My man Zoro's a bucket.
Noting that things could get dicey. Just outside of Arlong Park, within its front gate, Hachi finishes by signaling its arrival with a trumpet-like sound. This sound echoes to the seafloor below, and the smell of food catches a mysterious monster's attention as it swims out of its nest as Zoro's alerted of the noise. By the shore, Hachi, sensing something strange, wonders why Momu hasn't appeared. This leads Zoro to discover Hachi close by as he questions Zoro's identity. Hachi states that he's a fishman, inquiring if Zoro's a guest, and he responds by confirming himself as one. Hachi informs Zoro that Arlong is away, prompting Zoro to ask of his location. He responds that a long-nosed individual is running around, before finally mentioning that Arlong is in Coco village to capture him. Zoro, concluding it's Usopp, wants to know how he can get to the village, and Hachi offers to provide transportation to take him there. Meanwhile, at sea, Luffy, Sanji, and Yosuke—
This is like the first time we see Luffy since the first minute. Oh shit.
Counter a massive sea beast creature named Momu that suddenly appears out of the water. The sea beast leans in towards their boat, captivated by the smell of food on board. Yosuke, in a panic, states that the creature is hungry, telling Luffy and Sanji to give it food before it sinks their boat. However, Luffy, unwilling to give up his food, responds by abruptly punching Momu away from their boat. With Momu angry, Luffy prepares to strike again, but Sanji, upset, chastises Luffy and Yosuke for harming the creature simply because it's hungry. He figures that the sea beast is injured and can't find its own meals as he proceeds to offer it some food. Yet in a rage, Sanji abruptly kicks Momu when it attempts to eat him along with the food. The sea beast, in a rage, lunges—
In hindsight, these niggas are assholes. Beating on this fucking animal. Now, I think in the anime, to be fair, they actually make the crew even meaner. As the guy just read, granted, I didn't see the panel, but the guy just basically said that he kicked him after thinking that he was going to fucking eat him as well. But in the anime, they paint it as, and maybe I'm just misremembering, but in the anime, I remember that they just deceive him. Like Sanji just literally okie dokes this nigga. It's low-key crazy, bro.
Had them ready to sink their boat, yet Sanji, ready to finish what he started, uses the boat for support, jumping high into the air just as Momu is about to attack. He prepares his assault by delivering a devastating kick to the neck of the sea beast, putting his antics to a stop as Luffy and Yosuke amazed watch from below. The force of the kick propels the sea beast
already
upward
done
and away,
time-stamped it.
saving the boat.
Let me tell you something now, Black the Flamingo, and anybody in chat that corrects me, they already done time-stamped it. The one thing about, if I had to have a complaint about the TSO niggas, the community, which, by the way, I love my community, you know what I'm saying? Y'all niggas go crazy. Y'all niggas on time, and we on the way to 94,000 as of this recording. Follow the Twitch, whoop, whoop, bang, bang. You niggas will timestamp something, I'll correct it later in the video, and the comment still stays. Like the Goku was 12 thing. The Goku was 12 versus 14 thing. Nigga, by the end of the video, I in 4K say, hold on, let me Google this shit, because I feel like chat might have been right. I'm like, oh shit, they were. None of them comments got deleted. Not only did none of them get deleted, but I'm certain you niggas didn't comment that pause mid-video. I am positive that you niggas watched the whole video and then went back to find the accurate timestamp to then say that just for comment likes. You niggas are pieces of shit.
Destruction, eventually rendering it unconscious. And with that out of the way, the group proceeds to enjoy their meal as they sail towards the
pieces of shit,
On the other hand, Zoro arrives at Coco Village with the help of Hachi, who mentions that Arlong should be close by. Hachi pleasantly wishes him a nice day and swims away, just as Zoro begins his search for Usopp. Additionally, Arlong returns to Arlong Park, discovering his crewmates have been injured.
Yeah, yo homies got fucked. At this point, though, I'm Arlong. I really am fucking up that village.
After inquiring about the person responsible, he learns that Zoro was the one behind it, on top of him being the man they previously captured, unbeknownst to Arlong at the time.
I do not care.
Initially angered, he calms down upon finding out that Usopp has been caught as they inquire how they should dispose of him. Witnessing what happened, they begin to wonder what happened when they were away at the village. When they all realize it was Zoro, some of his crew members speculate that Nami might have been involved in Zoro's escape, given her unusual behavior earlier in the day, citing betrayal as her specialty. However, Nami appears, boldly denying any betrayal on her part. She reminds the crew of her years of commitment, mentioning that she made an oath of loyalty with her tattoo. She adds that she's close to having their deal come to a close, emphasizing that she wouldn't do anything to ruin it, which Arlong comes to believe. He gets back to the matter at hand, instructing his crew to deal with Zoro, brandishing a knife to Usopp's neck, catching Nami's attention. Additionally, Zoro learns of Usopp's capture and heads back in the direction of Arlong Park, along with Luffy, Sanji, and Yosuke, with the help of
the boys are pulling up.
Arlong's location, he rationalizes that given Zoro's status, it's only natural that a bounty hunter would attempt to eliminate him, given his bounty of 20 million berries, the highest in the East Blue. He expresses curiosity regarding Zoro's whereabouts, prompting Usopp to claim ignorance and plead for help. However, his blatant lie fails to deceive anyone, as they believe he's after Arlong's head, and Usopp claims that if anything happens to him, Zoro will arrive to kill them all. Subsequently, Arlong contemplates the idea of killing Usopp as bait to lure Zoro, despite Usopp's protests, pleading for Nami's help. This further fuels the crew's doubts about Nami's loyalty, as it remains in question. She realizes that if she doesn't put their suspicions to rest, they'll kill her too, leaving her unsettled, knowing that at any moment her plan could unravel. Usopp, disgusted, criticizes Nami for betraying Luffy, saying that even though she fled, he still believed in her. He insists that Luffy still trusts her despite her actions, wondering why she would blatantly deceive him. Nami responds that the only thing she believes in is money, labeling Luffy as an idiot for trusting her so easily. Hachi suddenly returns.
Hey, bitch! Hey. I can call him stupid. Zoro can call him stupid. Sanji can call him stupid. And that's it. Hey, if you not with the crew, shut up. That's our stupid nigga. That's our dumb nigga. That's our idiot king. All right? Don't call that nigga stupid. Watch your mouth, Kim. Watch your fucking mouth, Kim.
Wondering what all the commotion is about, expressing surprise at Arlong's return and the serious injury sustained by his comrades. Arlong mentions that this was the doing of Zoro, asking Hachi where he's been, as if he was present he might have stopped him. Hachi mentions that the only person he saw was a swordsman that he didn't know. This leads his comrades to angrily inform him about that same individual being Zoro, much to his shock. Hachi explains that he had simply provided Zoro with a ride to Coco Village, believing he was Arlong's guest. Arlong is pleased to hear that Zoro is actively seeking him out, as there's now no need to look for him. Hachi inquires about Usopp's identity, and Arlong mentions that he's Zoro's crewmate. In a bid to demonstrate her allegiance, Nami suddenly pulls out her weapon and openly attacks Usopp, striking him in the face. He falls to the ground, causing Arlong and his men to notice Nami's actions, while Usopp gets up, ready to fight. Nami asserts that Usopp shouldn't have attacked Arlong, as she mentions that he's about to ruin 8 years of her hard work. She then announces her intentions that she'll have to kill him to prevent further interference.
Oh
With
my
her
God.
comment making Usopp laugh, Arlong and his men stand by and watch how Nami will proceed. She dashes towards him, ready to strike, and Usopp, seeing this as a golden opportunity, plans to make his next move so he can escape. He uses his slingshot to deploy a smoke bomb surrounding the area, alerting the fisherman as he plans his escape, preparing to make his way across the water. But Nami, aware of his scheme, emerges from the smoke, catching him by surprise. She again strikes Usopp in the face, knocking him off balance. With him on the floor, Nami, quick on her feet, rushes towards him, brandishing a knife. Instantly, she stabs Usopp by running the knife through his stomach. With Usopp left in place stunned by Nami's betrayal, she mentions that she had no choice, as it's all business. She removes the knife from Usopp while his...
Now in the manga, I'll concede, and maybe this is just hindsight, RIP that nigga. Why is your hand red? You know what I mean? In the manga, it's kind of like, well, how does that's not how stabs work. That's not. Actually, now that I think about it, well, why is your other hand bloody? That's how that works. Maybe he bled so much he got on her. I guess I get. There's a cut. So I know that he stopped.
His bloodied body falls to the floor. Arlong, happy at Nami's work, is relieved of any doubt, mentioning her as a valued member of his crew. Observing from a distance,
that nigga Usopp good at playing dead, though. I say that.
Situation from the gate as he's in utter disbelief over witnessing Nami kill Usopp. Nami subsequently kicks Usopp into the water, further cementing the crew's trust in her. With him out of the way, she makes it plain once again that her sole purpose for joining them is for one reason only, and that's to earn 100 million berries and buy Coco Village back, as this is strictly business. One of Arlong's men, still on the fence of Nami's intentions, mentions her history of betrayal and her love of money, wondering why she would be interested in a rundown village. He sheds light on his discovery of what he found in her room, surprising her as Arlong wonders what it is. It's revealed to be an old treasure map of this island, as there's an X mark on Coco Village. Nami, upset, snatches the map away from him, tired of his suspicions, asserting that all she cares about is buying the village, asking Arlong if he'll keep his word on their deal. He responds that he will, as he's a fishman of his word, and that he'd rather die than break his promise.
Cap.
The statement pleases Nami as she begins to walk off, still holding her bloodied knife in her hand.
Cap.
Simultaneously, just outside of Arlong Park, Johnny, distraught and in tears, plans to find
forgot
Zoro to
about
tell
this
him the
nigga.
devastating news.
Big bro.
In the meantime, with Arlong Park in sight, Luffy, Sanji, and...
Look, say what y'all want about when I picked Dub to trigger you niggas, but one thing that I know had y'all pissed was when this nigga, big bro Zoro, big bro Luffy... This nigga literally was on some Glorious King shit, like dead ass. So he was on some Glorious King shit, bro. Big bro Sanji, oh my god. So stop,
and
bro.
Yosuke are seconds
Shut
away
up.
from arriving with the
Shut
help of
the
Momo
fuck
as
up,
they're
bro.
bracing themselves to crash into shore. And at this moment, Zoro, rushing to Arlong Park,
Big
hears
sis
a loud
Nami,
noise,
big sis
wondering what it
Nami.
is. The sea monster drags Luffy, Sanji, and Yosuke's boat at full throttle onto the shore. This abrupt motion propels the three as they begin soaring into the
This
sky
nigga's having
as
the
villagers
time of
are
his
alerted of the
fucking
sound.
life, bro.
Momo crashes head first into the shore and subsequently sinks into the sea, racked with pain. The three crash into a forest dense with trees, with their forward momentum still ongoing. Meanwhile, Zoro hears a loud noise but pays it no mind as he eagerly searches for Usopp before it's too late. He's unexpectedly caught
This is
in the
painfully
unconventional
like the
landing of
anime, I'll
Sanji,
say that.
Luffy, and Yosuke, catching him off guard as they all finally reunite. Zoro, hit by the oncoming traffic, angrily inquires what they're up to as Luffy restates his intentions to get Nami back, asking where Johnny and Usopp are. Zoro brushes himself off, highlighting the urgency of saving Usopp, further mentioning that he's been captured by Arlong and is at risk of being killed. However, Johnny suddenly emerges, informing Zoro that Usopp has already met his demise at Nami's hands, leaving him and everyone in a state of shock.
But who cares? You know, like if Usopp's dead, what do we lose? What do we not have any? Like, just find another one. Loyal crew member, he snaked out Zoro this arc. Man, SpongeBob with no Squidward. Like, you see, that hurts. Actually, SpongeBob no Squidward hurts. But this situation, bruh, it's like SpongeBob no Squilliam. Like, I can do without Squilliam tentacles. Yeah, I don't know, bruh.
Positioning to the west end of Coco Village, Genzo and Nojiko, as well as the other villagers at the
Thank
shore,
God it wasn't
spot a
Zoro.
chunk of the shoreline missing, wondering what could have caused such destruction. In the distance, they're alerted of an approaching Navy ship.
Yo, that nigga Luffy goes, phew, thought I lost Zoro there.
Just as Chabo from Gosa Village excitedly approaches Nojiko, he explains that the government sent the Navy ship to Gosa Village to
go
come
to your
rescue them,
mom,
as the
you
village
stupid
elders managed
runt.
to send an SOS to the government. The ship is led by Commodore Purin, who intends to free the island's inhabitants. The Commodore briefs his men, stating that their mission is to rescue the survivors and eliminate the pirates on the island, and with his men driven by their unwavering sense of justice, they prepare their upcoming assault. At Arlong's location, he expresses doubt about the existence of the 77th branch of the Marines, as he has never heard of them before. He surmises that they must be a new addition and instructs his men to either have them pay 2 million berries or eliminate them if they decline the offer. While he's speaking, his crew alerts him of an incoming cannonball, urging him to take cover. Arlong, however,
This was
catches
kinda
the cannonball
gangsta, I
with
ain't
his
gonna
open
lie.
mouth, crushing it with his formidable jaw strength. Annoyed, he spits out the remains and orders his men to halt the negotiations and kill them instead. Arlong
I'll say this, one thing that the One Piece did rather well with this Fishman bullshit was, even though they're introducing a new series or whatever, it's very believable. Nothing that has happened thus far isn't believable. For example, the idea that Zoro would just sit there and actually be in severe trouble by these fishermen niggas initially because he could just, they swim at hypersonic speed. They can swim very naturally, kidnap him, put him in a hold-ass situation, and if it wasn't for him being free, yeah, that nigga would have died. It's realistic as to why Usopp is scared shit of him, but then again, he's fucking Usopp. And maybe that's actually a good use for Usopp, that in the sense that because he's always going to be scared of the enemy, he kind of makes them believable as threats subconsciously. So maybe that's something there as well. But especially with Arlong, and I know I'm like giving a long-winded reason here, but especially with Arlong, you've established quickly like what his power has done to a massive amount of people. Like, it's terrorized an entire village. Feds ain't even pulling up over here. Anybody that's even thought about rebelling has died. That, like, this fucking village is beat into submission. Nami's doing what she does just because of this nigga. So when he just chomps a motherfucking like fucking ball, or I forgot what it was called. When he just chomps the ship attack, it's like, yeah, it's probably some shit Arlong could do. You know what I'm saying? I know that was hella long-winded, but I just think it's very believable. Good shit.
top officers, Chu, Hachi, and Karubi, halt the other fishmen, volunteering to deal with the Marines themselves, as they're all that's needed to wipe them out. A few moments later, at sea, as the Marines prepare to launch another attack, Chu leaps onto the Marine ship's deck, using his water cannon to attack an unsuspecting Marine. The Commodore steps in, halting his men from attacking, and introduces himself, telling Chu to cease his attack on his men, but he disregards that and shoots him instead, stunning the attending Marines as they charge in to attack. As their charge begins, they're simultaneously stopped in their tracks, as Karubi tears off the ship's rudders while Hachi simultaneously shoves a reef into a specific spot underwater.
This is crazy.
Powerful strength. This in return creates a massive whirlpool that engulfs the ship, resulting in the deaths of every Marine on board, including the Commodore. With the villagers watching from dry land, Chabo and
if Ned was on that ship, I wouldn't watch One Piece anymore.
disbelief after witnessing their only escape get massacred is informed as Nojiko reminds him of their grim reality that nobody can escape Arlong's control. Upon their return to their captain, Arlong hopes that he didn't cause them too much trouble. They casually attribute their success to their fishman's strength.
Niggas don't know Ned, bruh. That's crazy. Niggas don't know my man Ned, bruh. Damn. If you know, you know, bruh.
And with Nami's
if you know, you know, bruh. Niggas don't know my man Ned, bro.
Arlong would release Nami once she repays her debt of 100 million berries, as she is a valuable member of the Arlong Empire. Arlong vehemently asserts that he would rather die than break his promise. Back at Luffy's location, he's angry, confronting Johnny, asserting that what he's saying about Nami is nonsense, and boldly states that Nami would never kill Usopp, as she's a valued member of his crew. At that moment, Nami makes her appearance and questions Luffy's reference to her as a crewmate. As she confronts the group, She questions why they came to her home. He makes his intentions clear, referring to Nami as a crewmate as they came to find her, but she bluntly dismisses him as nothing more than a nuisance.
Yeah, see, obviously right now I have the powers of hindsight, so fair enough. But I'm betting on myself to notice that she has a glove. And in that moment, maybe it's not that the anime did it better. These are the same lines, the same drawing, but maybe because of the sheer fact that it is a page and pictures that I'm deciphering and reading, because even this is somewhat a video, but like just looking at this, I would immediately be like, glove. Like the bloodied hand thing, I can say that's probably a little bit the hindsight. I am confident in my own ability when I would like read an anime and shit, at least, to be like, glove? Where the hell did that come from? Especially when that's not the hand that she stabbed him with. So I'd be like, glove.
Dismisses him as nothing more than a nuisance. She scoffs at the idea of her being their crewmate, confessing that they're all a bunch of pathetic misfits.
Oh, wow,
Sanji
okay.
head over heels for Nami, urges her to come back to the crew, but Zoro...
Yo, these niggas didn't give a fuck. Luffy just sitting there like, didn't know you thought that. This nigga's sitting there simping, and Zoro's the only one, and Zoro already knows it's a bluff, so none of these niggas are taking her seriously. That is a hidden dynamic that I didn't talk about. That's like one of the things I didn't talk about. This was like a very fun dynamic for this arc. The fact that the mystery of Nami being a villain to the crew is thrown the fuck out the window. And someone just said, maybe I'm a detective, bro. In my opinion, I'm just not dumb. I don't know. But if you think that, go for it. I can't convince you on how you feel I would feel in a moment, right? But this is definitely something that I picked up on even watching the anime, that it was so fucking funny to me that the crew, outside of Usopp, just, this bitch is lying. like Luffy's just sitting there, even in this frame, but let alone in general, is like, yeah, she would never do that. What are we doing? Sanji's so unserious. He's still trying to fuck, and Zoro called bluff the second he's seen it. They literally think she's bullshitting the entire time, bro.
Engages in a heated
like the
argument
entire time they
telling
think she's
Sanji
bullshitting.
not to complicate matters, yet Sanji retorts with a poetic proclamation that love is akin to a hurricane. Johnny intervenes in their quarrel, loudly accusing Nami of being a witch who is solely interested in acquiring money, going so far as to claim that she is willing to join the Arlong pirates and commit murder to achieve her goals. Johnny repeats his accusations of Nami being a cold-blooded witch and asserts that he witnessed her kill Usopp. Nami remains unfazed and challenges Johnny about what he intends to do, rendering him momentarily speechless. She proceeds to warn the group that Arlong is out to kill Zoro and his crewmates as his previous actions have enraged him, acknowledging that Luffy and his crew may be formidable, but they're no match for a real monster. Zoro, irritated, demands to know Usopp's whereabouts, but Nami callously informs him that Usopp lies at the bottom of the ocean. Infuriated, Zoro calls Nami out on her BS, attempting to attack her, but Sanji intervenes, aiming to kick Zoro for trying to hurt her as their confrontation escalates into a heated argument. Sanji
What the shit, bro? What is going on?
Sanji comments on Zoro's humiliating defeat at the hands of Mihawk, angering him. Zoro, sword in hand, directs it at Sanji's neck, warning him to tread carefully, but Sanji provokes Zoro, daring him to try, as Yosuke implores them to stop arguing, given the gravity of their situation.
I'm taking Zoro. Zoro and 6. Taking Zoro and 6, man. So I'm taking Zoro and 6.
Nami instructs him to
comment that below all day, every day. Y'all go ahead. Zoro and 6.
As she only pretended to be their friend for their money.
Zoro and 6.
One last farewell. Nami once again implores them to leave from the island, but Luffy suddenly falls
this
down
version
to the
for
floor,
my niggas that's early.
Around him. With him on the ground, he prepares himself to go to sleep in his own nonchalant way. He states that he's too sleepy to care about the island's affairs, and he's not afraid of the fishermen and doesn't want to leave, telling his confused crew that he's heading to sleep. With everyone appalled, Nami responds heatedly berating him, saying that she couldn't care less if he dies before leaving the scene. Shortly after, Johnny, out of fear of being hunted down and killed by Arlong, decides to split ways with Luffy and his crew, and Yosuke.
And then that's my last thing on like how they really don't take this nigga seriously. I mean, they don't take Nami seriously. This nigga Luffy heard all of this and said, okay, I don't give a fuck. This bitch is lying. She thinks I'm scared of Arlong. None of these are going down this way. Not only am I going to call you out on this bullshit, I'm also going to show you how truly I don't give a fuck about any fishmen on this planet. I'm going to sleep.
Who questions why they should
like, fuck out of here, bro.
Zoro bids farewell to the bounty hunting duo, and they wish Zoro good luck as well, hoping to see them again. Meanwhile, Usopp, revealed to be alive, roams through the village drenched. He reflects on Nami's actions, questioning why she pretended to kill him, but stabbed her own hand instead. He realizes that Nami was trying to save him from Arlong's evil grasp, and concludes that she is not a witch, realizing that if she hadn't done what she did, he'd have surely been killed. Motivated by this revelation, Usopp sets out to find Zoro, remembering that the octopus guy mentioned Zoro's mission to locate Arlong earlier. Remembering he was looking for Arlong, Usopp fears he might have returned to Arlong Park to search for him. He races to find Zoro, hoping that he didn't go to Arlong Park before he finds him.
Is it Zoro or Zolo?
Location, Sanji asks Zoro if he believes Nami killed Usopp. Zoro entertains the possibility as he called her out on her BS previously being a witch, before stating that maybe she wanted to prove him wrong, sparking something in Sanji as he hears his remark. Unbeknownst to them,
that's a good deduction, to be fair.
Rushing towards them, happy to find Zoro safe. However, Sanji, quick to anger, defends Nami, stating that she isn't a witch, provoking a clash between the two, just as Usopp inadvertently gets caught in the crossfire, surprising Zoro and Sanji. In the village, Nojiko is out in
Usopp's a tank, cause how the hell is he alive?
the tangerine fields when she hears the sound of noises coming from the house. Upon entering, she finds Nami with her head resting on the desk, surrounded by a mess of furniture and broken glass, asking her what's gotten her upset. Nojiko makes her way to the table, sitting down with her sister, as Nami mentions that something upset her. Nojiko asks Nami who her acquaintances are, getting Nami's attention, asking Nojiko if she met them, as she mentions that she met their captain. Nojiko, caring about Nami's well-being, was informed that Nami—
You met a captain? you met a captain. you met a kind of captain. You met a guy that does ride on boats and adventure. Yeah. You met someone. Ooh, you think that nigga's actually the one in charge. Ay.
Nami's friends have come to take her back. She remarks that Nami detests nothing more than having to use the word friends, mentioning that for Nami, that word is the most excruciating of all. Meanwhile, Luffy is taken aback by Usopp's injured face and questions whether Nami was responsible, leaving Sanji to claim responsibility. Upon regaining consciousness, Usopp turns the topic towards Nami, informing everyone that she saved his life. Unsure on her reasoning, he has a hunch, believing that she joined the Arlong pirates for some ulterior motive. Nojiko suddenly appears and conveys that it's meaningless to try and change Arlong's rule, as they'll never beat him. Luffy,
how fast is that bitch? She was just sitting there with Nami seconds ago.
Who she is, as Usopp informs them that Nojiko is Nami's sister, and with Sanji love-struck, Zoro inquires about her previous remark. She agrees to firstly reveal Nami's past to the crew, commenting that they'll need to leave after she finishes explaining. Back in the village, the villagers are alerted of a docked Navy ship, as Captain Nezumi and his men unexpectedly arrive on the island, requesting to speak with Genzo to lead them to find a woman named Nami. At Nojiko's location, Luffy simply doesn't care, as he's not interested in hearing Nami's past. He sets off to go for a walk, leaving Nojiko with the rest of his crew. Zoro mentions that they'll listen to her story as they lie in wait for her to start. Before she—
Yo, Luffy canonically doesn't know shit. And Zoro, the real nigga that he is, no, Luffy don't care. I guess I don't either. Shit. Let me know when she done yapping, bro. We gonna get into fight mode, bro. On go. Now, I know some of y'all gonna call this glaze. Nah, that's just gangster shit, bro.
He even begins. Zoro falls fast asleep, leaving Usopp and Sanji attentive to her upcoming story. In the meantime, at Nami's location, she wakes up from her nap, wondering where Nojiko went, alerted of a bushel of tangerines close by. She's reminded of Bell-mère, reminding herself that soon Coco Village, the tangerine groves, and her dream will soon go back to the way they used to be. 8 years ago, during one incident, Nami was apprehended by a local named Genzo.
Oh, they doing the flashback?
Upon returning Nami to Bell-mère, they both make light of the situation, angering Genzo, who urges them that
Bell-mère a real nigga. Moving on.
Situation needed to be taken seriously. He insisted that she be taught respect, as she's beginning to gain a reputation in the village for stealing. Bell-mère defended Nami, thanking Genzo for paying for her navigational book. She assured him that she would repay his kindness with kisses when she had the means to do so, angering Genzo as she missed the whole point of why he came down in the first place. As she closed the door after Genzo's departure, Nami apologized for stealing the book, mentioning she had to have it. Bell-mère emphasized that Nami should have simply asked for the book, as she would have willingly bought it for her. Nojiko remarks how clumsy Nami is, mentioning that if she stole the book, she wouldn't get caught. Bell-mère swiftly reprimands her daughters, asserting that they don't steal, leading Nami to comment that Bell-mère wouldn't have been able to afford paying for the book. Soon after, as the three sit down at the table, Bell-mère is amazed at Nami's ability to draw ocean charts, as she remarks that she's studying navigation. She enthusiastically mentions her dreams, stating that someday she'll navigate the entire seas to make a map of the whole world. Bell-mère, supportive of Nami's goal, mentions that the map of Coco Village she drew is the first step towards her dream. After their talk, Bell-mère presented Nami with an old dress that she made herself. Nami complains about receiving a hand-me-down which couldn't be helped at the time since she's 2 years younger than her sister. An argument breaks out between the two as Nami expresses her want for new clothes, just as Bell-mère begins making her way towards the Tangerine Grove. In a fit of anger, Nami expressed her frustration about her and Nojiko not being related by blood, stating that they're not real sisters.
Oh. Okay, I did forget Nami said that. And I understand she's a tot, but Nami, that is fucked up. Oh, man, that is... Yeah, you gotta lean her. I ain't gonna lie.
Bell-mère, caught off guard, retaliates by slapping
Yeah, all day, every day. Yeah, all day, every day. And I get it. It's 2024. Don't beat your kids. Whoop, whoop, bang, bang. Sit down, have a conversation, yada, yada, yada. I understand that. And if that's how some of y'all rolling, cool. I ain't gonna lie, though. It's gonna be a very, let me put it this way. It's gonna be a very, 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 very stern conversation in this specific scenario, yo. This is just one of them moments where you just trying to hurt somebody, man. Nami, that's fucked. Even an 8-year-old knows that's mean. That's fucked.
But with Nami on the floor, Bell-mère warns her to never say foolish things, as their blood relation doesn't matter. Nami, tearing up, tells Bell-mère that she's not their real mother, and that she'd be better off not having to raise her and Nojiko, as she'd be free to pursue what she wants. In a tearful rage, she wished she had been adopted by a family with more wealth, adding more salt to the wound. Further,
Nami, what the fuck? So let me break this down. You tell your sister, we're not even blood, fuck off. Your stepmother hits you, which fair enough, you know, she hits you again, whoop, whoop, bang, bang. When she's like, she hits you with the context of, bro, that's fucked up, that's wrong, don't ever say that, this shit is more than just blood. This is about love and affection and bonds that you've built. In your response, after acknowledging that she was poor and that's why you stole the book instead on some friendly shit, was I wish I was found by rich people. And I can't front. I vividly remember how Bell-mère found your ass. What's wrong with you, man? That's
they're shocking Bell-mère. Bell-mère, angry, responds that she could leave the house to pursue the life she desired, since she hates her current living conditions, as Nojiko tries to de-escalate the situation. Instantly, Nami dashes out of the house, leaving Nojiko to assert that Nami didn't mean what she said, as she acted out of anger. Bell-mère comments on her own childish behavior, asking Nojiko to bring her sister back home, as she'll have a nice dinner made upon their return.
W moms for recognizing that was childish.
Jinzo, revealing she ran away. She mentions that Bell-mère would be happier without her and Nojiko, elaborating further that they're the reason Bell-mère is poor. Jinzo shares a story with Nami that happened years ago, following a terrible storm. One day, Bell-mère returned to the island, carrying 2 kids, announcing for a doctor, making it known that the kid she was carrying was sick, burning with fevers. Despite her injury, she disregarded her own well-being, pleading for the children to be saved. Following this story, Jinzo explained to Nami that she was only a baby, while Nojiko was 3 years old. She thought that she was found under a bridge, but Jinzo explains that wasn't the case, sharing that Bell-mère, who had served as a marine in a war, was severely wounded and left for dead on a battlefield. As she was about to close her eyes and die, Bell-mère had found both Nami and Nojiko. As she gazed down at the infant Nami, the child could only respond with a smile, unaware of her surroundings and filled with joy. Upon hearing this story, Nami came to the profound realization that the bond of love between the three of them was stronger than any blood connection. Jinzo implores Nami to go back home as Nojiko arrives to take her back. However, during this same time, the villagers are alerted of Arlong's pirate ship landing on their home as they're under siege by pirates. Jinzo, sensing danger,
oh my god, I just remembered. It just hit me like a truck, bro. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Instructs Nojiko and Nami to hide in the woods. The sea pirate Arlong and his fishmen touch down onto the island, boldly asserting their claim over the land, declaring
This just
that the
hit me
island
like
now
a
belonged
truck,
to them.
bro.
To ensure their survival, each villager was required
Oh
to pay a
my
hefty sum of
God.
100,000 berries, with an additional 50,000 per
Fuck
child
you
to the
niggas,
Arlong
bro.
pirates, as Arlong makes it clear to only
And
kill
is
the
every fish blue? Where the fuck is the red fish, blue fish, one fish? We're the
ones that
one
can't
fish and
pay.
two
The
fish,
inhabitants
bro.
of Coco
I'm
Village
tired, my
managed to
bad.
gather
I'll
the
joke.
necessary funds to save their lives, and Jinzo, well aware that due to Bell-mère's lack of money, she can't afford to pay for herself and her daughters. Arlong and his men, obtaining what they came for, prepare to leave as a sigh of relief surrounds the villagers. However, their attention was drawn to Bell-mère's solitary house when they observed smoke emanating from a chimney.
You bitch ass nigga, bro. You bitch ass nigga, bro.
Nestled among the trees, and with the villagers alerted, the pirates make their way towards the house. Jinzo rushes over to the village doctor Nako as they wonder where Nami and Nojiko went. They surmise that they were supposed to be hiding in the woods, but are no longer there, realizing
nigga
that they're
did that
making
for
their way
one
for
house,
home. Bell-mère,
bruh.
preparing food for her daughters, hears a knock on the door, noticing that something odd is happening, while at the same time, Nami and Nojiko rush to their mom's aid. When the fishermen arrive at Bell-mère's residence, Arlong enters the house to find it empty, yet in an instant, Bell-mère, on high alert, knocks Arlong off balance with a gun in her hand. She valiantly resists their intrusion, pointing it directly in his face, ready to shoot. Arlong, finding the situation funny, uses his mouth to easily destroy Bell-mère's weapon, shocking her, while Arlong comments on how weak humans are. Nojiko and Nami arrive behind their home, but are stopped by the island's doctor, preventing them from going as he prepares to explain their current situation to the young girls.
Oh my God.
Nevertheless, their attention is turned in the direction of their mother, realizing she's in pain.
Please stop, daughter. SLZ raid. SLZ with the raid. We watching the One Piece manga Arlong Park edition. We have seen the anime. I haven't rewatched since, so if I forget a major moment, my bad. But we're comparing one to the other. And so far, it's pretty 1-to-1, which I don't really have an issue with. Go anime then. But then at that point, we're just revisiting the arc, and so far, it's still just as emotional. This backstory, man, this fucking hurts, bro. This is just, like, we're speed running it, and if I haven't talked the entire video, so fucking be it. Again, it's 1:30 in the morning, but this is just, this ain't right, bro. All because one dumbass fish had to be like,
Arlong, we're missing one house.
Bro, fuck off, bro. It's one house. I'd have kept that shit to myself and moved on.
As she proved no match
My
for their
God,
overwhelming
bruh.
strength. Jinzo warns Bell-mère to not be a fool, as this is a fight they cannot win, stating that this is a problem better solved with money. In agreement, Arlong disclosed their demands to her, as if she pays she can live, leaving Jinzo and Bell-mère to quietly talk amongst themselves, concluding that she only has about 100,000 berries. Meanwhile, behind their house, Nojiko and Nami are told that there's no proof that they're Bell-mère's children, strongly urging them to flee the island before Arlong finds out about them, mentioning that it's the only way to save them. Nami, not
my
wanting to
God.
leave her home, is in tears, wondering if this is happening because they're poor. In front of their home, with Arlong and his men collecting the fee from Bell-mère, they begin to leave, but she soon reveals that the money was intended for her two daughters. This revelation shocks
Oh my
Nojiko
God.
and Nami, angering Jinzo, catching Arlong's attention as Bell-mère isn't able to abandon her two daughters. Filled with tears, she expresses that Nojiko and Nami are as much hers as if she gave birth to them, stating
Oh
that
my
they're
God.
her children. With Arlong fully aware of her having kids, Nojiko and Nami, in tears, breaks free from the doctor, choosing to rush to their mother's side. She wraps her arms around her two children, apologizing that she couldn't do better, expressing that she wasn't a good mother, which they disagree with. Bell-mère
Oh
confirms
my
with Arlong that her daughters will
God.
remain safe, granted she dies without causing trouble. Nami cries out for help, leading Jinzo to pull out his guns and shoot, but to no avail, it does no good, resulting in him being cut with a sword. Nami watches in horror, and the other villagers get their weapons, charging at Arlong and his fishmen to attack. He orders his crew to deal with them accordingly without killing them. With resignation, Bell-mère faced her fate as Arlong raised his gun to her head, explaining that it would serve as a stern warning to all villagers who could not meet the demands. Bell-mère
Oh my God.
calls out to Nojiko and Nami one final time amidst the chaos. After expressing her love for the two, a deafening shot rang out, and the two children, their faces contorted in terror and grief, witnessed the death of their mother. After the
That's not right, bro. That's not right, bro.
heartbreaking death of Bell-mère, Nami and Nojiko reflect on their mother's words,
That's
urging
not
them
right,
to never
bro.
lose the ability to laugh, as good times are sure to follow. This reflection
That's
occurs as
not
Bell-mère's
right, bro.
lifeless body collapses to the floor, surrounded by a pool of blood. As the villagers lie defeated by the fishmen, Hachi discovers ocean sharks in their home, prompting Nami to demand them back, asserting that they belong to her since she was the one who created them.
Type
Nojiko,
shit.
worried for her sister, tells her to stay away, but Arlong, impressed, discovers her remarkable talent for map making. Seeing her skill is valuable, Arlong abducts Nami to have her benefit his agenda, leaving Jinzo to demand he release the girl as Nami cries out for Jinzo to help. Karubi steps in with his captain's order, dealing multiple sword strikes to Jinzo, severely wounding him. The villagers stand in retaliation.
Yo, that random fish done painted this whole man red, bro.
Retaliation of Arlong to save Nami as she begs for them to stop, not wanting to see anyone else get hurt. Arlong, however, gives the cue to his crew to brutally wound the remaining villagers without killing them, as they remain helpless against the fishmen. Later on, within the infirmary, Jinzo talks with the village doctor, revealing that the fishmen sank all of their boats, ruining their plan to have Nami and Nojiko escape, aware that the village is under Arlong's rule. Later on, the villagers initially united, attempting to sacrifice their lives to save Nami, but to their own astonishment, she returned on her own volition, being welcomed with open arms. However, Nami discloses her newfound affiliation with Arlong's crew to the villagers, that she'll be their navigator and draw maps for them. She brandishes her new tattoo to them all, showcasing the mark of Arlong's pirate crew tattooed on her body, shocking Nojiko, Jinzo, and the surrounding villagers. Nami even demonstrated her capacity to accumulate money, sharing that they'll buy her whatever she wants. Her self-serving behavior left the villagers appalled, and Jinzo ordered her to leave and to never set foot in the village again.
Bro, she's a kid, bro. You could have just instantly been like, yo, they've done manipulated this kid, what the fuck, all that shit, instead of barring her from the fucking village. Like, come on, bruh.
As she dashes away, Nojiko, however, begins to notice something odd.
They have no reason to be this mad. Bro, facts. Like, I guess I need to dive deeper into it. In my personal opinion, yes, she's 8. And I know 8 isn't 4, 8 isn't 5. She has some level of comprehension. But simultaneously, dog, she's still a fucking child. Children are very impressionable. They are very, in a high stakes ass situation like this, it wouldn't be surprising if she was on some can't beat it, join them shit anyway. So hypothetically, even if you thought she wholeheartedly did join them, which at this point in time, why would you think anything else? I would consider that she's either been manipulated or feel like it's hopeless. I wouldn't shun her from the fucking village. She's a goddamn 8-year-old, bro. What are we doing? This was, the village was a little piece of shit fuck regardless to me. I ain't gonna lie. After her mom died, it's saying, like, her fucking mom died, bro. Like, why are we banishing her from the village? What are we doing,
deciding
bro?
to follow her sister. She soon
I understand what the village, what they did, but come on,
Nami
bro.
remarks on their mother's previous words about enduring. She explains Arlong's overwhelming power, sinking multiple Navy ships, confirming that nobody will come to save them, as it's up to them to save themselves.
Type shit.
She disclosed her plan to amass 100 million berries, which would enable her to buy back their village and help out the villagers, deciding to not ask for help to avoid anyone else getting hurt. Taking their mother's advice to endure, Nami decided that she's not going to cry any longer, deciding that she'll fight alone. Back in the present, Nojiko mentions that since that day, no one has ever seen Nami shed a tear, and she's never asked anyone for help. Nojiko reveals that Nami, at a tender age of 10, made a self-sacrifice to prevent further deaths in the village at the hands of Arlong, just as their mother had
Being said, insane W
backstory.
backstory.
News, Usopp understands that Nami needed to make enough money to save her village, despite joining the very same creature that killed her mother. Sanji's anger escalates as he passionately expresses his desire to avenge Nami and eliminate Arlong and his crew. However, Nojiko swiftly hits Sanji, delivering a stern warning against speaking so recklessly. She cautions the crew about the implications of openly declaring Nami as their friend, as it would raise doubts among the Arlong pirates and jeopardize the 8 years of hard work Nami has invested. Nojiko implores them not to inflict further suffering on Nami, as the most painful word to her is friend. Inside their home, Nami reflects on the fact that she's only one voyage away from reaching her goal of 100 million berries, and all her suffering will be over. Jinzo in the village leads Nezumi and his men towards Nami, inquiring what they want with her, as Luffy is amazed by the pinwheel on Jinzo's hat. As Nami heads outside, ready to take on one more voyage, Jinzo Jinzo arrives at her house in the company of Marine Captain Nezumi and his men, who inquires if Nami is the alleged thief he's been hearing about. Nami acknowledges her affiliation with piracy, mentioning that she's an officer of Arlong's crew. She highlights that an officer such as himself should know that if any harm falls upon her, Arlong won't be pleased. However, Nezumi dismisses Nami, branding her as a petty thief, and asserts that the money she has stolen from numerous pirates belongs to the government, bluntly telling her to hand over the money. He instructs the Marines to
I forgot about this fucked up bullshit. This is why I hate this bitch ass nigga.
Ignoring Nami's plea. Infuriated, Nami vehemently opposes their intrusion and launches an attack with her staff.
Nami Solo
She's
Squad.
left confused, wondering if this is how the Navy operates, announcing that Arlong and his crew have murdered hundreds of people while destroying countless villages. She emphasizes to the Marines that Arlong has enslaved everyone on the island, questioning if they're going to ignore the terrible acts of Arlong to solely focus on one petty thief. She announces that everyone on the island has been waiting for help, questioning his integrity to abandon them, just as a Marine close by questions if the treasure is buried within the orchard. As his men attempt to dig in the area, Nami once again uses her staff, trying to prevent them from taking her money. Jinzo interjects, berating Nezumi for his actions, and explains that the money is being used to save the village. Nami is taken aback by Jinzo's knowledge of the money's purpose, and is stunned to learn that the villagers have been aware of her intentions the entire time.
W Village. You started off with a piece of shit L. W Village. W Village, you don't let her know that. You don't let her know, bro, because if she knows, then now everybody acts fucking stupid. Everybody starts doing something. W Village.
Jinzo shares that they couldn't believe her to work for Arlong just for money and learn the truth from her sister, as everyone in the village knows. Jinzo reveals that he and the...
Because, but we didn't want you to feel you couldn't give up and flee. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Villagers didn't want to put more pressure on Nami, as if she knew everyone was counting on her, she'd feel obligated to help, so they pretended that they didn't know the situation. Simultaneously, Nojiko arrives at the scene and condemns the Marines for their conduct and their failure to protect the village. She warns them that if they aren't going to save the village, then they need to leave or face an impending attack by Arlong's crew, but Nezumi disregards her words. With Nami's suspicions rising, he announces to his men to keep looking for the loot of 100 million berries. This alerts Jinzo, wondering how Nezumi knows the exact amount Nami needs to save, while Nami begins to realize something is amiss. She angrily demands to know if Arlong sent him here, and he dismisses the idea that he's simply there to take back stolen treasure. This angers Jinzo, Nojiko, and Nami, as they are in utter disbelief. He orders...
Nah, this is some OD rat shit, bro. This is some OD corrupt shit, because hypothetically, bro, like, the signs was there. Like, they pieced that shit together very quick, bro. You talking about, oh, I doubt Arlong attacks you. Why wouldn't he? What are you talking about? All right, y'all, we looking for 100 million. Huh? How the fuck do you know we got 100 M's? Oh, hell nah.
His men to defuse the situation, knowing his search is disturbed, and the Marines oblige, holding up their guns ready to shoot. Nojiko, shot in the stomach, falls to the ground, alerting the villagers, as well as Luffy, who's close by. He approaches the crowd, wondering what's going on, angering Nami that he's still on the island. Nami, pissed off, forcefully grabs him by the shirt, screaming at him to get off the island, as she wants nothing to do with him. In a fit of rage, she dashes towards Arlong Park, thinking back on Arlong's promise to her years ago, that if she brings him the desired amount, he'll let her and the village go free, no matter how long it takes. She barges into Arlong Park, catching Arlong's attention, prompting Nami to confront him about sending the Marines to steal her treasure. She berates Arlong, confused as to why he'd break his oath from years past. Arlong reacts with amusement and manipulative wit, questioning Nami when he broke his promise, causing the surrounding fishmen as well as him to burst with laughter as tears flood Nami's face.
That nigga hit her with level 10 bro, I can't even like, ooh, wow, boom, 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 bang, bang reaction. And I know you're thinking, well, say just because you're tired. No, honestly, bro, this is fucked up. The nigga said, I didn't break a promise. And then I hate when niggas lie like this, too. I hate when people lie like this, where they like act dumb on purpose. But, hey, in this sense, what are you going to do about it? Like, he could kill you right now. He could have killed you yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before. You feel me? So it's like, what do you do about that? That nigga said, I didn't break a promise. You never brought me 100 mil. He did. This is ridiculous. And he's just going to keep her around to refill the pot over and over and over again at 99.5, bro. My God.
Outside Coco Village, on the marine ship next to the dock, Nezumi is amazed at the loot Nami collected. He joyfully inspects the money he had taken, knowing he'll get his share. He mocks Nami for her hard work under Arlong for so long, finding her gullibility amusing. Meanwhile, at Arlong Park, Nami confronts Arlong about the stolen money. He disavows any responsibility for Nezumi's actions, as if she can't come up with the money, she and her village will stay in bondage. Nami, being played a fool, is callously informed by Arlong that she'll have to save up 100 million berries from scratch again. He intimidates Nami, reminding her that any attempt to escape will result in the residents of the village being killed, as their blood will be on her hands. Nami recalls Jinzo's previous comment about the residents, knowing of her plan, but not telling her due to added pressure on her part. In the village, a furious Jinzo rallies the villagers to prepare for a battle against the Arlong pirates. Jinzo reminds everyone of the promise they made to endure the fishermen's cruelty until Nami can buy back the village. However, with Arlong showing no intention of releasing them, the villagers reach a breaking point. Jinzo angrily declares that if there's no hope in their freedom, then they will die fighting, and with no objections among the crowd, they prepare to fight just as Nami arrives at the village.
Village is officially on W timing. I'm not gonna cap. And Nami about to come through on this bullshit. Nami, shut the fuck up. That's it. We're not living like this, bro. Even if it gets selfish, bro, we're not living like this. We're not living in a sense of limbo where this nigga could hypothetically break his promise with you, let alone could he just do the exact same shit he just did. Fuck that, bro. Not gonna lie, we crashing the fuck out. We probably dying today, but it is what it is. If we take one fisherman out, it was a dub, nigga. Let's get it.
He reassures them that she's committed to saving the money again, and this time it will be easier, and her dedication deeply moves the villagers. At Arlong Park, Chu happily remarks on Arlong's cruelty, but Arlong reveals he has plans for Nami's exceptional navigation skills. He intends to let her go after she has created a map of the entire world, a prospect that will take decades and amuses the fishmen. In the village, Jinzo, despite Nami's assurances, embraces her to reassure her that she's done enough and can't continue to carry the burden of the village forever, insisting she leave the island. Nojiko, willing to sacrifice her life as well, supports his decision, telling her sister to pursue her dream. Desperate and fearing for their safety, Nami pulls out a knife, not wanting to see anyone else get hurt. She asserts that they'll die if they attack Arlong, but Jinzo, aware of this, intervenes, surprising Nami as he grabs a hold of the knife. This bloodies his hand, and the villagers announce that their minds are already made up. The villagers, resolute in their decision to fight, rush towards Arlong Park, leaving Nami in the street alone. With her dreams, hopes, and aspirations crashing down, she takes a look at her tattoo, reminded of Arlong's cruel and deceitful nature.
You gotta live with that shit.
Grief, and despair, Nami repeatedly stabs herself in the shoulder where her tattoo is, repeatedly shouting Arlong's name as tears stream down her face. However, Luffy arrives and stops her from causing further harm. Nami...
Hell yeah, nigga. Real nigga alert. Real nigga alert. This is when Luffy, like shit like this shit, like Luffy sometimes can be annoyingly stupid. But moments like these is when I'm like, yeah, Luffy that guy, bruh.
He criticizes Luffy, telling him this situation has nothing to do with him, as he doesn't know anything, which he agrees with. She repeatedly throws dirt on Luffy, telling him to leave the island, and as he stands in silence, Nami, overwhelmed with the flood of tears, calls out to Luffy. With her coming to grips with the current situation, she turns around, pleading for help. Luffy, in silence, takes his straw hat off his head, placing it on her head, just before he takes a deep breath. He then boldly shouts to the top of his lungs about his intention to help, leaving Nami in awe. She's deeply moved by his gesture, remembering how much Luffy values his hat. Luffy begins making his way towards Arlong Park.
These niggas was just sitting there, bro. Even Squidward looked like he on 50. Even Squidward looked like he on motherfucking 50. This nigga Sanji smoking that fish pack. Zoro been with the shits the whole time. And Luffy was like, that's all I needed to hear.
Walking in the direction of his crew while they remain on standby,
let's fucking go. Let's box.
His men to follow him to their destination. Usopp, Sanji, and Zoro in unison follow their captain's order, and they take their lead to go into battle, while Nami watches from a distance filled with tears. Meanwhile, the villagers reach Arlong Park,
hey, everybody get the fuck out the way.
Johnny and Yosuke battered and bruised at the gate, telling them to move aside. After hearing Nami's backstory in the woods, the two confronted Arlong to make amends for judging Nami, but were swiftly defeated. The two brothers prevent the villagers from entering, saying that they're waiting for a certain crew that's sure to show up. up, confusing them as they wonder who that crew is.
The
Suddenly,
boys.
the gates to Arlong Park are destroyed,
The
alerting
boys.
him and his men. Luffy, ready for action, demands to know which one of them is Arlong, much to the fishman's anger and surprise. Following Luffy's explosive entrance, Arlong introduces himself, and Luffy does the same as he confidently approaches, announcing that he's a pirate. However, two of Arlong's crew members try to stop Luffy, warning him to back off.
Man, get
but
the
he
fuck
quickly
outta
and
here.
effectively knocks them out by slamming their heads together, leaving Arlong and the other pirates in shock. Luffy continues to approach, and Arlong inquires about the purpose of his visit. However, Luffy disregards
Fuck wrong
any
with you,
attempt
bro.
at
We ain't got no
talking and
words for no
delivers a
fuck nigga. We ain't got no words with this fuck nigga. You been playing my bitch. You been playing my bitch Nami like this for years. Yeah, all right, bro. I'm not trying to hear none of your Japanese. What do I want with you? Fade. That's what the fuck I want with you. What do I want with you, nigga? A fade, nigga. I want to throw hands, bitch. This what I want. This what I want, nigga. Hope you get the message.
This horrifies the remaining Arlong pirates, and Luffy is motivated by Nami's tearful plea for help. Luffy, in a fit of rage, announces to Arlong that he made the navigator of his pirate crew cry. In response to Luffy's action, the fishmen lunge at him to attack, but Sanji quickly dispatches them easily with a few well-placed kicks, further enraging Arlong. As the rest of the Straw Hat crew arrives, Sanji scolds Luffy for rushing ahead, but Luffy assures him that he won't lose. Sanji retorts that he was never concerned about him, but wanted to ensure that there was some action left for the others. Usopp in the back comments that he doesn't mind Luffy taking all the action, and Zoro teases him about his lack of bravery. The Arlong pirates are surprised to see Zoro, and Hachi being especially infuriated as Zoro had tricked him earlier. They are also shocked to discover that Usopp is still alive, and Arlong realizes the connection they share with Nami. Meanwhile, the villagers outside are amazed by the Straw Hat crew's abilities as they wonder what's going on.
Hey, and also, these two niggas on real nigga timing, bro. Let me be clear. The fact that these two niggas was like, bro, I'm not letting y'all niggas kill yourselves, bro. Y'all about to get in the fucking way. If y'all about to think that, oh, we're going to help them. Nah, bro. Let these 4 niggas handle it. If they can't do it, we dying anyway. Hell nah.
Nami and Yosaku express
the fact they even went in the fight, and the fact that they, I'm missing that. The fact that these niggas even just took the L prior to, bro. Fuck that, bro. This is big bro time. Big bro time, nigga.
Them from intervening. Jinzo questions why these men are going to such great lengths for their sake, and Johnny and Yosaku simply state that making Nami cry is reason enough for them to risk their lives.
It sure
Arlong
is.
realizes that the Straw Hats are here for Nami.
It sure is.
And questions what inferior species such as humans can possibly do against fishmen. Hachi then summons Momu with his trumpet call, horrifying the villagers and Usopp as they realize Momu was the one who destroyed Gosa Village. However, Momu emerges from the waters in a less than ideal condition as he's still recovering from his previous encounter with Luffy and Sanji. He turns and notices them down below, and he's startled, so he turns and flees, leaving Hachi bewildered. Arlong inquires if Momu is running away, claiming that he won't stop him if he decides to leave, proceeding to smile evilly. Momu, more afraid of Arlong than the Straw Hats, turns around and charges at them. Followed by this, the other fishmen decide to follow Momu's lead. As Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp prepare for battle, Luffy expresses his frustration. As Momu ferociously approaches, Luffy with his devil fruit ability embeds himself into the ground up to his ankles, and he follows up by excessively winding his body. With him fully stretched, he extends his arms to grab Momu's horns, surprising the fishmen, including Arlong, realizing that Luffy has the powers of a devil fruit. Zoro urges Sanji to run away, sensing Luffy's impending reckless move, while Luffy prepares to attack his surrounding enemies while the Arlong pirates rush towards him to kill. He swings Momu around in a massive circle, smashing him into nearby fishmen, wiping them out as well as the pillars supporting the towers, causing them to collapse. Luffy then sends the unconscious sea beast flying high into the air, resulting in it crashing into the water before dramatically turning his face to Arlong.
Get that nigga the finger. nigga swung around a cow for like 2 minutes straight. Bitch.
Declaring that his sole purpose is to defeat him. With mutual feelings, Arlong, now consumed with anger, announces his intention to kill Luffy himself. Hachi, Karubi, and Chu are alerted that they need to get involved, and they prepare to join the battle. Zoro's excited to fight, and Usopp and Sanji angrily scold Luffy for his reckless action. The residents of the village are astounded by Luffy's powerful windmill attack that incapacitates Momu. In a standoff, Luffy and his crew readies themselves to confront the Arlong pirates. Chu, Hachi, and Karubi suggest to Arlong that he should leave the fighting to them to avoid potential damage to Arlong Park. As Hachi prepares an attack, Zoro remarks that he's up to something as Luffy tries to get their attention, but Hachi releases a massive ink spray from his mouth, shooting it towards the three. As Sanji and Zoro dodge, Luffy gets caught in the ink, rendering him blind and immobilized because he had planted his feet in the concrete and couldn't move. Hachi seizes a massive piece of the damaged tower and attempts to crush Luffy with it, slamming it onto him as it starts to crack.
I'm not gonna say I entirely forgot, but like I forgot what this means in this fight. This nigga hoed himself in the boss fight.
Stepping in for his captain, Sanji intervenes, shattering the large chunk with his powerful leg. Sanji then engages with Karubi, who is trying to assert his superiority over humans.
He is flicking him off. I refuse. No, he is flicking him off, bro. This nigga refuse. I will not be told different. Luffy is casually flipping the bird and fucking Arlong.
Usopp struggles in his attempt to free Luffy from the ground. Hachi, disregarding Sanji, prepares to throw another section of the tower at Luffy as Usopp anxiously tries to free his captain. Zoro interrupts, telling him to focus his attention towards him instead, angering Hachi even more. Hachi tosses the large debris at Zoro, expressing his anger about what he had done to his comrades earlier. However, Zoro remains unfazed.
Intermission. This probably doesn't make the actual video, but if it does, hey, cool, whatever. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I ate a shrimp tempura today, nigga. I think the lifelong shrimp allergy is cooked, bro. I don't know how I outgrew it, but I just ate that bitch. Ate it slow, pussyfooted around it, like I ate like a piece by a piece by a piece, and then the second half of it just crushed it. I ain't gonna lie. And the doc said I'm not allergic to peanuts, so I'm gonna try that next. But nigga, I think I'm cool, bro. I think I'm good in the hood, bro.
Aren't the ones terrorizing anymore.
Shit, we done with the allergies.
That Zoro was handling Hachi, accidentally loses his grip on Luffy, causing him to snap back to the spot where his feet are anchored, and he hits Chu with the recoil. An infuriated Chu.
I'm gotta say, I'm not gonna lie, we can use Luffy as like a dummy toy now. When that nigga Arlong stands up, yeah, somebody free that nigga.
Focus his attention towards Usopp, pursuing him as he flees Arlong Park. He stops in front of the villagers and notices their weapons, indicating it as a rebellion against the Arlong pirates, stating that they'll have to die. But Usopp suddenly takes a shot at Chu with his fire star, knocking him to the floor, proclaiming that he's his opponent. He makes another run for it as Chu chases him, perplexing the villagers. Meanwhile, Arlong gets
Usopp is faster than a fucking fishman? Okay.
Back on his feet, despite Karubi's plea to watch
it's not
his
the
temper,
worst thing
Arlong
to be happening, but
Luffy attempts to strike him, but Arlong easily evades his attack. He catches the punch and questions Luffy's belief in his ability to defeat them. Arlong then opts not to speak and instead begins to remove a chunk of concrete from the floor. He's successful in his attempt, containing Luffy to throw him into the water with the intention of drowning him. Zoro and Sanji are alerted as Luffy counterattacks, landing a direct hit to his face. However, Arlong catches his punch with his mouth and injures Luffy's arm with his teeth. Luffy responds by biting Arlong's arm, but this does little damage as Arlong hurls him into the water, immobilizing him as he sinks due to the concrete and his devil fruit abilities. Sanji attempts to rescue him, but Zoro advises against it, preventing him from going after Luffy. Zoro, aware of the situation, brings to light that the Arlong pirates are trying to lure them into a trap, and they must first deal with the fishmen to save Luffy. In a race against time, Zoro and Sanji prepare to attack Karubi and Hachi, while Luffy simultaneously sinks and Usopp flees from Chu. Zoro and Sanji confront Hachi and Karubi, while Luffy helplessly descends to the sea's bottom, taunted by Arlong for his human frailty. Zoro declares he'll defeat Hachi within 5 seconds and charges towards the fishman, prompting him to shoot ink at him, but Zoro evades it, regaining his balance as he tries to cut him. He manages to cut off 2 sections of Hachi's spiky hair, but Hachi, surprisingly forgiving, notes that he can regrow it. As their fight continues, Sanji notices Zoro's weakened state, and his distraction allows Karubi to launch an attack, but Sanji deftly evades it and counters with an attack of his own that's blocked, remarking that a fish should never compete with a cook. As Luffy's situation worsens underwater, Hachi acknowledges his own skills against swordsmen. Zoro raises his sword to strike, prompting Hachi to defend himself by catching his sword with his arms together. However, Zoro effortlessly slices through Hachi's arms, leaving the fishman perplexed and Zoro annoyed. Zoro, trying to finish the fight as soon as possible, dashes towards Hachi to deliver the final strike, but misses as Hachi disappears.
I thought this nigga was about to say solar flare in this panel. I'm so sorry.
He becomes adhesive and sticks himself to a pillar above Zoro, catching his attention. He becomes irritated at Hachi for wasting time, and he questions why Zoro is only using 1 sword instead of his usual 3. Zoro retorts that he's struggling against 1 sword, while Hachi claims he hasn't gotten serious yet. Outside Arlong Park, Johnny and Yosaku consider helping Luffy, believing Hachi is wasting their time to save him. As the two prepare to help, Jinzo intervenes, reminding them of their severe injuries, deciding that he himself will go to aid Luffy. Nojiko and the other villagers offer to help, but despite his reluctance, Nojiko insists, driven by the Straw Hat's dedication to her sister's cause. In a quick moment, Jinzo agrees to her decision, and they head into the outskirts of Arlong Park unnoticed. Back in the battle, Zoro suddenly collapses, alerting everyone nearby. Sanji realizes that the wounds inflicted by Mihawk still hasn't fully healed yet, as Hachi takes advantage of this opportunity, punching the pillars above, jumping.
I forgot Mihawk just literally one-tapped Zoro, bro. Fuck, lock in, bruh.
Down from his location, declaring that he'll have the pillars fall on Zoro to crush him. Zoro, undeterred, grabs Hachi and quickly throws him underneath the pillars, causing it to come crashing down onto him instead, leaving Zoro unharmed. He collapses once more, and Sanji, Johnny, and Yosuke acknowledge the severity of his wound. This distraction allows Karubi to strike Sanji, completely catching him off guard, sending him flying into a wall, asserting his
100% Zoro beats Arlong,
reminding Sanji of his warning.
Well, nah, probably not.
To pay attention in their fight. Sanji having
nah, probably not, right?
On through the wall, lands behind the village residents, and with the crew appearing defeated, Arlong orders Karubi to toss Zoro into the
sorry, I'm done. I promise.
Remarking his inferiority
I promise, I'm done.
He orders Hachi to come out from beneath the rubble, and Hachi bursts out in fury. He proclaims his status as the second best swordsman on Fishman Island, employing his six-sword style technique. Initially, Karubi mocks Hachi's outburst since Zoro is down, wondering who he's going to fight, but he's alerted when Zoro rises, declaring his six-sword style technique is trash. With him back on his feet, Zoro declares that no one can take his life until he meets a certain man again. Zoro urges Johnny and Yosuke for their swords, preparing to demonstrate.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. My niggas fight sexual Hall of Fame. If you whip out a motherfucking kunai, you whip out a motherfucking death blade, a lightsaber. The second you have a sword, oh, nah, this nigga's on 50. You done lost. That nigga could have died peacefully. And then you had to go out there and six-sword style it up. Hell nah, we ain't going. We ain't going for none of it.
Sanji rises as well, much to the shock of the villagers,
for none of this
dusting
shit.
himself off to return to the fight. He boasts that Karubi's punch doesn't compare to Zeph's formidable kicks. Meanwhile, Jinzo and Nojiko submerge, head towards Luffy, and Usopp continues to run away from Chu. Johnny and Yosuke, deeply concerned about Zoro's injuries, notice that if his wounds open up, he'll surely die. They cast aside their worries, putting their hopes on Zoro, understanding that he's the only one capable of facing Hachi. They toss their swords towards him as Zoro dons his bandana. Despite Zoro's outward confidence, he knows he's at risk of passing out at any moment. As Hachi readies to attack him with his six-sword style, Zoro initially surprises Johnny and Yosuke by remaining idle. Just in the nick of time, Zoro sidesteps Hachi's three-sword thrust and grabs Johnny and Yosuke's swords to counter. Hachi redirects his attack towards Zoro, remaining confident that he won't be able to handle all six of his swords, and as Zoro quickly moves behind Hachi, the two with their swords drawn stand on opposite ends of one another. To everyone's astonishment, Zoro parries Hachi's strikes and delivers a vertical cut across his chest. The fishman
KO. It's the power of the do-rag, man.
Johnny and Yosuke are
left
the
power to do-rag, man.
But Hachi's anger only intensifies. He argues that mathematically, Zoro can't logically defeat him because he has only 3 swords compared to his 6, leaving Zoro to respond that although he has 3 swords, they're much weightier than his. Just underwater, Jinzo and Nojiko struggle to break the rock, trapping Luffy at the pool's bottom.
For the love of God, just
Luffy, having already ingested a substantial amount of water, lays unconscious close to death's door. With time quickly running out and them both struggling to break the rock, they eventually devise a new plan. On the surface, Hachi doesn't grasp the significance of Zoro's comment, pointing out that his swords each weigh over 600 pounds. Zoro offers no further explanation as Hachi launches another attack, bringing all his swords together, thrusting them at Zoro as he counters. However, Hachi suddenly spreads out his arms in different directions, manipulating Zoro's movements, leaving him vulnerable to an attack as Hachi takes this opening to body slam into Zoro. The effects of the attack sends him airborne, teetering on the edge of unconsciousness. As Zoro descends, Hachi spins his swords overhead, intending to shred him to pieces. To the shock of everyone, Zoro, unharmed, manages to match the rotation of Hachi's blades, allowing him to pass between them, cutting Hachi's hands.
You understanding what that counter is? For my Naruto niggas, imagine Neji screams rotation, and it's not like someone just says, no, to the rotation. Imagine a nigga says, oh, okay, and does a move so fluently in the rotation that it becomes a part of the rotation, and then he counters it. That's what fucking happened just now.
Despite Hachi's frustration, Zoro remains determined to push past his limits and avoid losing consciousness as he confronts Hachi's attack head-on. He prepares to use his onigiri technique, clashing with Hachi's swords, interrupting his attack. He successfully breaks his blades, reiterating his statement that their swords differ in weight, shocking Hachi as Zoro prepares his next attack. Hachi, out of options, attempts attempts a rapid punch assault, but Zoro slices him with Dragon Twister, creating a giant whirlwind slash, sending Hachi flying into the air. This shocks everyone around as he then crashes to the ground in defeat, leaving Zoro to disregard the others to save Luffy. Karubi, angered, appears behind him, readying himself to attack, but Sanji intervenes, canceling out his attempted strike with a swift kick. Sanji remarks on Karubi's previous attack, leaving him surprised that he managed to
Zoro is like, yeah, that's enough, bruh. I'm finished, wallahi.
Survived the full force of his punch. Sanji mentions that people from Baratie could have withstood it as well, leading Karubi to claim he's being underestimated. Following Hachi's defeat at the hands of Zoro, Sanji faces off against Karubi. Zoro prepares to dive underwater and rescue Luffy, but Sanji expresses concern that his injuries will prove fatal if he dives underwater in his current condition. Zoro, unable to wait for Sanji to finish his fight, insists that time is running out, prompting Sanji to take action. He suddenly dives into the water as Zoro watches in shock, leaving Karubi to eagerly anticipate a battle in his underwater environment.
These niggas never were at 100%
as Sanji
here.
descends, he notices Jinzo performing chest compressions on Luffy, with his neck stretched towards the shore to keep his head above water. While Nojiko holds him in place, Luffy coughs up some of the swallowed water, sparking hope in her. As Sanji makes his way towards Luffy, he recognizes that breaking the rock encasing his feet is all that's needed to free him, as Jinzo will handle the rest. However, Karubi catches up to Sanji, suddenly striking him on the back of his neck, using Fishman Karate, effectively limiting his air supply just as he spots Jinzo down below. He immediately swims at full speed towards him, ready to drown him. Sanji, on the other hand, grabs a hold of Karubi's legs to restrain him from going any further. Karubi is excited by the challenge to fight in his element, whereas Sanji is weakened by the lack of air, followed by Karubi ensnaring him in his
lack
hair,
of air
catching him
and
off guard.
movement. He's
When
underwater.
Sanji attempts to land a kick, it's apparent that the power and speed of his attacks are reduced in contrast to Karubi, making
I'm about
it
to say,
easier for him to
duh.
dodge, delivering a powerful kick. On the opposing side, Karubi's attacks persist in their undiminished intensity, having multiplied in the ferocity before delivering a barrage of powerful blows to Sanji, with each attack effectively limiting his air supply. With one final palm strike to end the barrage, this sends him to plummet forcefully and crash into the seawall below. After the onslaught of attacks, Sanji
at
having
some
let out too
point,
much
seeing all these niggas die, fucking wounds cut open, bloodied, battered, all that shit. At some point, bruh, PTSD's hitting me, bruh. If I'm a part of this village, after we're free, I'm leaving. I know some people would repopulate the village, be great, be prideful. I'm gone, bruh. I done seen too many niggas with stab wounds, bullet holes, internal bleeding. I need to go to the suburbs, man. I need my peace, bruh. I need to find my gated community, bro. Fuck that.
Air desperately swims upward to breathe, but Karubi cunningly blocks his path, annoyed by his durability to take continued punishment without losing his life. Karubi taunts Sanji's sense of heroism, asserting that it's this very trait that has brought him to this perilous predicament, which will only end in his death. He goes on to predict a grim future for Sanji, foretelling that after he dies, he will kill all of his friends, on top of the traitorous Nami and the rebellious villagers, thwarting any chance of him rescuing a single.
He just had to bring up Nami. You would have killed him. You would have got him. In my personal opinion, he would have killed him. You just had to mention Nami. Now you lose.
Person. With a menacing grip on Sanji, Karubi comments on the powerlessness of humans, preparing to
now
swiftly drag him down to the
Talk
ocean
too
floor,
much.
knowing that the abrupt change in water pressure will rupture his organs. Following Karubi's rapid descent, Sanji loses blood when they reach the sea floor, and just up above, the villagers remain concerned about the statuses of Sanji, Jinzo, and Nojiko. Remarkably, Sanji points upward, surviving the sudden pressure change, surprising Karubi. Choosing to repeat his attack, he swims back to the surface. Sanji astutely recognizing that fishmen utilize their lungs to breathe on land before transitioning to their gills underwater, makes a strategic decision. Seizing an opportunity, he bites down on Karubi's gills, effectively blocking his air supply, leaving him stunned and breathless. Sanji breaks free from Karubi's grasp, having successfully returned to the surface, gasping for air, alerting Arlong and Zoro. Sanji informs Zoro that Luffy is somewhat—
How the fuck did he piece that together with no air in his fucking lungs, on the fly, underwater in a fight? That's crazy.
Okay, mentioning that he'll explain the details later. With their fight still ongoing, he angrily challenges Karubi to resurface so he can finish what he started. Karubi emerges above the water, exuding confidence in his ability to engage in combat on land. Despite this assurance, he remains convinced that he can still overpower Sanji and is determined to unleash his ultimate attack. Instantly, Sanji makes the first move, unleashing a powerful kick, knocking Karubi down. Sanji rapidly unleashes a barrage of powerful kicks, relentlessly kicking Karubi into submission, preventing the fishman fishman from having any opportunity to mount a counterattack. Ultimately,
Yep,
Sanji defeats Karubi, culminating in a powerful final kick, sending him flying high into the air, and with Karubi defeated, Sanji taunts him, knowing he won't be needing any dessert. Sanji forcefully sends Karubi colliding into the main building of Arlong Park, leaving Arlong visibly shocked as his anger intensifies. As he witnesses Karubi and Hachi lying defeated, Sanji dismisses the two fishmen as mediocre, claiming to be the winners. Arlong confronts both Sanji and Zoro, enraged that they defeated his most valuable officers. Zoro inquires about the cryptic information.
What about Chu? What about Chu?
Sanji shared earlier regarding Luffy's condition, and Sanji assures him that Luffy will survive, but he'll need to return to the ocean floor to rescue their captain. However, Arlong poses a formidable obstacle. Just nearby, Nojiko, cradling Luffy's head above the water's surface, witnesses with astonishment the downfall of Arlong's best fishman. Unable to hold his breath any longer, Jinzo resurfaces, seeking to catch his breath, prompting Nojiko to propose exchanging positions. Curious about the ongoing conflict, Jinzo seeks information on the battle, as Nojiko still processes the recent events. In a heartfelt exchange with Jinzo, she communicates a glimmer of optimism in the potential success of their shared cause. Elsewhere, Usopp lies sprawled on the ground with his body heavily battered and bloody. Chu, towering over him, stands as the victor.
My fault, I just got quiet there. I zoned out a little bit. I can't even lie, but Squid, bro. Lock in.
Battered and bloody, Chu, towering over him, stands as the victor after dispatching him with a single powerful shot of his attack, expressing a sense of disappointment with how easy the fight was. He begins walking towards Arlong Park, believing that Hachi and Karubi dealt with the others. Surprisingly, Usopp remains unharmed, having cleverly used his special catch-up star to deceive Chu into thinking he's dead. He thinks back about how terrifying fishmen can be due to their monstrous strength, wishing he could help, but will pass if it means getting himself killed. Wishing he had...
Alright, so here's the thing. At this moment in time, at least for me, you let them go to Sanji and Nami in the state that they're in, they might fucking die.
More battle scars. He decides to conceal the truth by pretending to have lost a challenging battle against Chu, trying to figure out what he'll tell his crew when he returns. Nevertheless, in the midst of his deception, Usopp takes a moment to reflect, contemplating the unwavering resolve exhibited by his fellow crewmates. Immersed in thought, he reflects upon the shared commitment of the residents of Coco Village to thwart Arlong's oppression to free their home, acknowledging the collective strength and grit that
what you gonna do with that? What you gonna do with that, Squid?
His actions any further, Usopp turns a critical eye inward, condemning his own perceived weakness, branding it as a source of shame. Despite the gripping fear coursing through him, he summons the courage to make a defiant stand, raising his...
Okay, Squid! Okay, Squid! Yeah! Now you might fucking die. You might not last any much longer than this. This might be your last stand ever. But okay, Squid.
Out to Chu. In a tense moment, Chu pivots around to confront the unexpected sound, aware that Usopp had survived. Usopp comes to a profound realization, understanding that the genuine spirit of being a pirate involves embracing risks and committing wholeheartedly each day. He confronts the truth that he has no right to sail the seas or share in laughter with his comrades if he does not face his challenges head on. As Usopp swiftly launches a fiery star towards Chu, the formidable opponent effortlessly dashes towards him, skillfully extinguishing the fiery assault. Before Usopp can ready himself for another move, Chu with seamless fluidity prepares his next attack, culminating in a forceful strike delivered squarely to Usopp's face. With blood trickling from Usopp's wound, Chu coldly remarks that it would have been wiser for him to persist in pretending to be dead. Initially, Usopp seems to concede to this, and in a grim turn of events, Chu takes advantage, subjecting him to repeated kicks while he remains on the ground. Usopp swiftly retrieves a hammer from his bag, catching Chu off guard, and with a sudden and strategic move, he strikes Chu's leg with the hammer, momentarily stunning the formidable...
All he has to do is beam this nigga in his heart and it's over. Yo, you kind of suck, bro.
Opponent. Seizing the opportunity, Usopp follows up with his rubber band of doom, causing Chu to flinch. This results in a trick, allowing him an opening to scatter into the woods, and in a clever diversion, Usopp hurls a bottle towards Chu, grabbing his attention as he adeptly catches it. Seizing the moment, Usopp skillfully shoots at the bottle with his deadly star, causing it to shatter upon impact, splashing onto his enemy. Growing increasingly irritated by Usopp's tricks, Chu reaches a tipping point to draw in and suck up vast amounts of water, harnessing the power at his disposal.
Pause? Like, gang? What's this? My nigga, what is this? What is this technique?
In the woods, Usopp reflects on the escalating situation, vowing not to retreat from the fight, acknowledging the high stakes, knowing that if he loses, he'll die. Chu's absorption of a vast water volume transforms him, swelling his body like a balloon as he then releases the accumulated water into a colossal shot. The expelled water erupts with explosive force upon impact, resembling a cannonball. Amidst the wreckage of numerous destroyed trees, Chu stumbles upon Usopp, who is carefully inspecting the aftermath. Chu relentlessly bombards Usopp with a flurry of blasts.
The nigga Usopp is sitting there with the most cartoon face of all time with his head poking out carefully. Okay.
Resourceful sniper to seek cover behind a tree. Despite being overwhelmed, Usopp resolves to honor the memory of those he left behind and embrace the essence of a true pirate. With unwavering resolve, he declares himself to one day be a brave warrior of the sea, signaling an end to his days of make-believe as he faces the formidable challenge before him. As Chu
Hell yeah, Squid. We ain't cowards no more. We box from this day on, my boy. Let's go, Squid.
Behind which Usopp is concealed. Sharp branches draw blood, leaving Chu to
Let's go, Squid.
The battle will soon be over. However, Usopp defiantly responds, asserting his persistence to emerge
get this
victorious
nigga a gun.
in the battle. He takes decisive action, firing a deadly fire star that ignites the alcohol, covering Chu's body, enveloping him in flames. Soon after Chu is set ablaze, he desperately attempts to escape towards a nearby pool of water, provoking Usopp to give chase in hot pursuit. Surprising him with a swift and unexpected move, Usopp delivers a decisive strike from behind with his hammer. With Chu sent plunging into the water, he struggles to regain his footing. Usopp relentlessly strikes him 3 times with the Usopp hammer, before swiftly following up with his rubber band of doom, before finally delivering another forceful blow with the Usopp hammer, intensifying the assault. The series of relentless blows leaves Chu unconscious, and Usopp, surprised, celebrates his victory. With
That nigga played whack-a-mole with a fish man off screen and won his ones against Choo-Choo, the Freakamink. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
He loudly proclaims that even he can achieve
Go,
victory
Squid, go.
through perseverance, emphasizing that the fisherman should never underestimate him. Shifting to Coco village, nestled behind her home, Nami, seated on a chair, carefully tends to her injured shoulder. Reflecting on her previous tears and complaints, she comes to the realization that the moment has arrived for her to make her way to Arlong Park, understanding that everyone else is presently immersed in the ongoing fight. At Arlong,
wait, why does it look like she doesn't have a leg?
Way to Arlong Park,
Nigga ate her leg.
understanding that everyone else is presently immersed in the ongoing fight.
Nigga
At
ate her
Arlong
fucking
Park,
leg.
Arlong stands imposingly with Zoro and Sanji lying defeated on the ground before him. Residents nearby express confusion while Yosaku and Johnny raise questions about Arlong's actions. They point out that Arlong merely splashed water on them, yet both coughed up blood and collapsed. Meanwhile, Luffy's body remains submerged in water, with Nojiko diligently doing chest compressions while Jinzo ensures that his head is held just above the surface. Signs of life emerge as one of Luffy's fingers move, encouraging Nojiko to persist a little while longer in their efforts. As Sanji weakly stands up, he's urgently warned against getting back on his feet. Arlong taunts the 2 pirates, confidently asserting that he doesn't need to lay a hand on them, asserting that even a mere splash of water is enough to harm them, underscoring the profound difference between the respective species. Despite the injuries he sustained, Sanji summons his strength, launching an attack against Arlong. However, the fishman effortlessly sidesteps the blow and promptly retaliates with a powerful stream of water. The force behind the water strike is formidable as it forcefully knocks Sanji down.
This nigga just holds a little This nigga literally goes. GG. Nigga, what? This nigga just goes GG to niggas? Wow.
Recognizing the battle's one-sided nature, with water splashes filling like shotgun blasts, Sanji acknowledges the significant power gap, underscoring that Arlong's on a different level. He mocks Sanji, suggesting that he should simply accept his fate, deeming his life as worthless. To the surprise of those present, Nami unexpectedly makes an appearance. Arlong questions her sudden appearance, expressing that he was on the verge of killing Sanji, and he inquires about her motives.
Caleb said, yeah, right, that is some shit that Caleb would do. An anime character being overpowered to just blink. He's overtaking my body. Shout out Caleb, bro. Oh my god. Speaking of the creators, man, I wish I could go to DreamCon. Fuck.
surprise of those present, Nami unexpectedly makes an appearance. Arlong questions her sudden appearance, expressing that he was on the verge of killing Sanji, and he inquires about her motives. In response, Nami declares that she came with the intention to kill him. Arlong reacts with amusement to her declaration, reminiscing about the countless attempts Nami made to assassinate him over the past 8 years, using methods such as poison or hired assassins. He confidently asserts the impossibility of humans successfully killing him and bursts into laughter. Arlong further comments that his intention is not to kill her, but rather to ensure she doesn't escape, asserting that she will serve as his cartographer for the remainder of her life. He refers to himself as a reasonable fishman, preferring that Nami willingly work for him. He states that he intends to kill every villager except for her, but if she's willing to rejoin his crew, he'll spare the villagers, but makes it clear that Sanji and Zoro will not be spared due to the trouble they caused. Arlong presents to Nami with a choice: either side with him to ensure the safety of the villagers or align with the pirates in opposition to him. He urges that given the current state of their strongest fighters, the pirates are inevitably destined for defeat. In profound contemplation, Nami weighs Arlong's ultimatum, realizing the gravity of the decision before her, as in this moment, she acknowledges the balance of life and death, being tasked with shaping the fate of those involved. Amidst the villagers' outrage in response to Arlong's ultimatum, Nami's reminded of Luffy, grappling to believe in her friends. With a decision made, she apologizes to everyone, telling them to fight and die with her. With a cheer of resounding approval among the villagers, Luffy in a swift motion seizes Nojiko, regaining consciousness while simultaneously expelling a powerful jet of water from his mouth. Arlong becomes alerted to the situation, prompting Sanji and Zoro to acknowledge the success of their plan as they shift their focus to freeing Luffy's legs. Johnny and Yosaku become aware of Luffy's return, while Genzo tells them to wake up, and Luffy, now fully awake, releases a massive gasp of air, narrowly escaping death. Zoro and Sanji ready themselves to stand, with the swordsman imposing a brief time limit of 30 seconds, cognizant that he won't be able to endure any longer than that. Simultaneously, Sanji takes a leap into the water, aiming to maximize the use of the available time, while Arlong questions if the rubber boy survived. Zoro swiftly cuts Arlong's face, advising him not to be distracted, referring to him as an ugly bottom feeder, which stirs Arlong's anger. With Sanji submerged underwater, Usopp emerges on the scene and takes aim, shooting at Arlong with his egg star. Boldly declaring his intention to support Zoro, Usopp captures the attention of everyone present, leaving them wonder where he is due to his brave entrance. Surprisingly, he's spotted near the entrance, ready to provide moral support and not engage in the fight. Nami expresses joy at seeing Usopp, and he proudly announces that he
Come on, Usopp. I thought you weren't scared no more.
Single-handedly defeated one of
Shoot a couple of stars.
Officers. Genzo inquires about Luffy's condition, and he admits to lacking the strength to move. In the water, as Sanji approaches Luffy, he places his trust in him as their only hope, while Hachi regains consciousness, showing his persistence to not allow them to act as they please. Sanji plunges underwater to free Luffy from his rocky entrapment. Zoro simultaneously faces off against Arlong, who articulates his curiosity about the unidentified person responsible for keeping Luffy alive. Attempting to divert Arlong's attention, Usopp shouts, preparing to shoot his rubber band of doom. However, the fishman remains focused on Zoro, paying him no mind, despite his failed attempt. Unfazed, Zoro swings his sword at Arlong's face, initiating the confrontation. However, his elongated nose skillfully counters Zoro's sword attack, leading him to proudly emphasize that his nose is indestructible. In the midst of this, Hachi, having recovered, becomes enraged with the intent of killing Sanji, diving into the water, leaving Zoro surprised. Arlong informs him that his group is destined to die, and with a forceful attack, he pierces Zoro's chest, inflicting considerable pain upon him. Meanwhile, Sanji descends to the bottom of the pool, where Nojiko and Luffy are located, ready to shatter the rock, encasing him with the powerful kick in order to free him. However, as Sanji prepares, Nojiko notices Hachi rapidly approaching and decides to take action. She positions herself in front of Sanji, shielding him from Hachi's swift punches.
Gum squid attack?
Surprising the cook as he's taken aback
Gummo calamari.
Above the water surface, Usopp climbs over the wall
Gummo calamari attack.
Calling out to Zoro as he's seized by the neck. Arlong questions why Zoro is wrapped in bandages and tears them off, leaving him in a state of shock. Revealed is the gruesome wound on Zoro's chest, and the crowd watches in horror. He gets a good look at Zoro, wondering how he can possibly still be alive after receiving such a horrendous wound. Perceiving him as a threat, he makes the decision to finish him off, aiming to eliminate any potential disruptions to his plan. Before Arlong can strike, Zoro remarks that lying still could have prevented some wounds from reopening. Initially, he believes he's referring to himself, but Zoro clarifies, directing his statement towards his crewmate. Arlong comprehends that Zoro was referring to Hachi, just as underwater, his injuries resurface, halting him in place before he can attack Nojiko and Sanji. With Hachi...
Let's talk about everything we just saw, bro. So this nigga Zoro's just a fucking tank. Let's start there. This nigga Zoro's such a fucking tank. The motherfucking crowd stopped there. Was like, what the fuck? This nigga Arlong stopped there. Like, what the? How are you alive? No matter. And then on top of that, this nigga Zoro's such a motherfucking gangster. He was like, yeah, the wounds wouldn't have split if he could have possibly just laid there. What are you talking about? Your man's. I'm not talking about me. Yeah, the wounds stay intact as long as they lay down. This nigga wasn't even talking about him fucking self.
She incapacitated. Sanji swiftly obliterates the rock, restraining Luffy with the powerful
Yeah, that would have been
As
bad.
Luffy's body starts its ascent from the water, a gradual release of built-up pressure occurs, generating an immense force that propels him higher. The added momentum catapults Luffy to remarkable heights, causing him to soar gracefully over the expanse of Arlong Park, marking his triumphant return.
He falls right back in the water.
The townspeople and their allies erupt in joyous celebrations as Luffy's body ascends. This ascent alerts Arlong to Luffy's presence, effectively preventing him from inflicting harm on Zoro. Luffy, spotting Zoro, extends his arms to grab him, launching the swordsman out of harm's way in a swift yet reckless trade-off, ready to attack Arlong. With the crowd annoyed by his recklessness, Luffy prepares to attack. He responds with a powerful headbutt to Arlong, knocking him off balance, followed by a powerful kick to his stomach. With everyone amazed, Luffy delivers a forceful punch to Arlong. With him sprawled on the floor, Luffy finishes his attack by using his Gatling delivering a barrage of punches.
Fuck him up, Luffy.
With the crowd left stunned and Luffy's attacks momentarily halted, Arlong, despite the severe beating, rises unharmed. In response, Luffy remarks that it was merely a warm-up, and Zoro safely lands outside of Arlong Park on the ground. After enduring a relentless...
Oh, I'm gonna kill him. Nah, this crew, despite being blindly loyal to him and loving him at all times, bro, these niggas have to hate how Luffy does shit sometimes.
Series of blows from Luffy. Arlong acknowledges his tenacity, asserting that
they have to hate how Luffy runs this shit, bro.
He highlights his anger, having to witness his comrades defeated, asserting to enact an agonizing death. Tensions rise among the crowd, witnessing the ongoing fight between Luffy and Arlong, leaving Johnny to wonder about Zoro's location. Sanji somberly highlights the grim fate that awaits if Arlong wins, with Nojiko stressing the dire consequences for the entire East Blue. Arlong questions Luffy about the perceived differences between them, as Luffy points out their physical disparities, including their noses, going further to ask if it's their chins. His unexpected response takes Johnny and Yosuke by surprise, further heightening Arlong's anger. Determined to establish a more serious distinction, he aggressively asserts that their divide lies in their race.
We don't care about none of that. Wait.
Luffy,
so Luffy was right. You say you getting mad and saying no race when he literally said, is it your nose, your chin, maybe the enwebbed fingers? Yeah, and then you like, no, it's my race. Nigga, it sounds like Luffy was right, bitch.
To bite him, but he skillfully evades Arlong's rapidly encroaching jaws, narrowly escaping the aggressive attack.
Yeah, we're not scared of none of that.
The neck against a pillar as Arlong lunges at him, ready to bite. However, Luffy stretches his neck, allowing him to avoid Arlong's bite by withdrawing his hand.
Why is his face like that?
Arlong biting into the pillar behind Luffy, initially giving Usopp hope that his teeth will shatter. But to their astonishment, Arlong's powerful bite shatters the stone pillar. Recognizing the imminent danger, Luffy swiftly scatters to maintain a safe distance. On the other hand, Sanji observes that if Arlong were to successfully close his jaws around Luffy's body, it would result in him being torn limb from limb.
Nah, bullshit. He already bit Luffy's arm and Luffy's fine. Fuck that.
Once again boasts about the might of his teeth, asserting the superiority of fishmen over humans due to their possession of this formidable power. In response, Luffy, unimpressed, demonstrates his own strength by crushing stone with his fist. He boldly remarks that one doesn't need to have big teeth to achieve the feat of crushing stone. Arlong, angered, charges at Luffy, loudly proclaiming the frailty of humans, asserting their weakness to water. Luffy appears unfazed by these accusations of weakness, announcing he has friends to lean on. In a
two-sword style?
Surprising move, he grabs two swords from Arlong's
two-sword style?
Defeated crewmates, sparking Sanji's curiosity about his proficiency with
Luffy?
Luffy, though, swings the swords wildly at Arlong, confusing him as he dodges the erratic strikes. He counters one of the swords with his nose, sending it flying from Luffy's grasp as he swings his remaining sword at Arlong. The impact...
This is literally like what niggas think Drunken Lee does. Drunken Lee just stomps because they don't expect it. So when Luffy does this moment right here and he's just swinging rapidly with the swords, he solos because you can't expect what he does next. Oh my God.
sends one half launching into the air, while the other half shatters upon contact with his durable nose. Initially believing Luffy is playing games with him, Arlong is surprised as he follows up with his sword strike with an incoming attack. He executes a successful punch, landing squarely on Arlong's jaw, propelling him backwards and shattering his teeth in the process. As everyone watches in awe of Arlong's teeth being broken, Luffy then corrects him, announcing that he can't fight with swords like Zoro. He goes on to mention that he can't navigate like Nami, cook like Sanji, or tell lies like Usopp, acknowledging his dependence on the diverse.
Tell lies like Usopp. Now, again, you see what I mean? Navigator, cook, swordsman, captain, liar.
Oh, yeah.
Talents of his crew by openly recognizing that he cannot tackle every challenge alone. Finding his comment amusing, Arlong questions his worthiness to be a captain after openly admitting to his own faults. With Arlong perplexed, he wonders why Luffy's crew fights for his sake, labeling him as an idiot. Seething with anger, he declares that Luffy lacks both dignity and strength, demanding to know what he can possibly do, but Luffy responds with unwavering confidence, stating that he can defeat him. Becoming increasingly frustrated by Luffy's words, he swiftly regenerates a new set of teeth. He discloses that as a shark fishman, he harbors the unique talent to consistently grow more robust set of teeth with each regeneration. On the offensive,
he's one of those.
With
each fight I get stronger, we don't care.
His weapons in his hands, while another set begins regenerating.
Now this was hard.
Relentless assault continues.
Now this was hard in the anime, and even looking at the visual right now. Now this was tough.
Facing the regenerative powers of a fishman, he dashes towards Luffy, dual-wielding his sharp jaws in both hands to pierce him, and after a fierce struggle, Arlong successfully manages to draw blood. However, they're soon aware that the blood is not from Luffy, but from a fishman that Luffy used as a shield, leaving Arlong appalled. The surprising revelation further fuels Arlong's anger, intensifying his fury, while also sparking
you little gum what? Why you little gum what?
Next course of action should be. With Arlong furious at Luffy for using his crewmate as a shield, he counters by pointing out that him and his crew attacked everyone first. Johnny and Yosaku mentioned that Luffy alluded to having an idea for defeating Arlong, piquing their curiosity, along with Sanji's, wondering if he found a way to win. Arlong launches an attack on Luffy with his tooth attack, but Luffy
Luffy not really tripping off that. He's just dodging these.
In response, he delivers a powerful kick to Arlong's jaw, sending him crashing to the floor, as well as his set of teeth, pleasing Luffy. As he promptly regrows another set, he cautions Luffy that breaking his teeth is a pointless endeavor.
Stop. Keep your teeth. Stop. When I get old, chat, if I'm looking like these, bruh, I'm not saying end it, but I'm never going outside again, bro. Stop. Ew.
In a surprising turn of events, Luffy unexpectedly places a set into his own mouth as the unconventional approach baffles Johnny and Yosaku. Disgruntled, Arlong lunges at Luffy yet again, giving him a bite to his body, having him fall to the ground in pain. Johnny and Yosaku criticize Luffy for not taking the fight seriously, but he counters that he's not fooling around. He employs a large piece of debris to block one of Arlong's strikes, but his immense strength breaks through it, sending Luffy tumbling backwards as he seizes an opportunity to strike. He again successfully sinks a set of teeth into Luffy's side, and with the crowd alerted, Luffy returns the favor by biting into Arlong's shoulder with his teeth. The two adversaries disengage from one another, with the teeth Luffy used remaining in Arlong's shoulder. Luffy takes delight in having hurt Arlong with his own teeth, but Arlong extracting it from his shoulder claims that Luffy's jaws lack the strength to inflict real harm. He follows up by demonstrating the force of a shark's bite by clamping onto Luffy's right arm at the elbow. In a precarious situation, Luffy swiftly improvises, using his arm and body weight to counter the attack and hurl Arlong into the ground.
But he still bit
Arlong's jaw, freeing Luffy's arm, and for a moment they both lie motionless on the ground. Jinza, watching from afar, notes that Luffy would have lost his arm if he had taken one step backwards. Arlong rises to his feet first, fully aware that Luffy's throw drew blood. Meanwhile, Luffy effectively pulls the teeth from his side. When he stands up, he notices that Arlong has vanished, wondering where he went, but Usopp informs him that he's gone into the water. Luffy, looking into the water, spots something moving and initially mistakes Arlong's exposed fin for a real shark. Just underwater, Arlong, locked on Luffy, mentions that none can match him in the water, water due to his increased speed.
But why would he go
suddenly
there?
Propels out of the water like a torpedo, crashing into the tower wall, and Luffy, hurt, is sent flying, narrowly evading a potentially fatal blow. Luffy crashes forcefully onto the ground below, enduring a powerful strike. He tumbles to the ground in pain, and just above, Arlong shows surprise that he managed to withstand his attack, stating that this only prolongs his torment. He repeats the same attack,
You
shooting
think you're
himself
him?
towards Luffy. He dodges once more, causing Arlong's nose to embed itself into the ground, but to no harm to him.
Dumbass.
Luffy grows weary, and Sanji is amazed by the strength of Arlong's nose as he remains idle. Yet with a sinister look, he employs the attack again, managing to hurt Luffy, followed by a second time.
Yo,
tossing him right
Arlong
into
is
the air
kinda
once
tough.
more before submerging himself again as Luffy struggles to his feet. Johnny and Yosaku, as well as
Arlong
Sanji,
is hanging. Say what y'all want, chat. Arlong is kind of tough.
implore him to withdraw before Arlong launches another attack, but Luffy, despite the sustained injury, stands tall, adamantly refusing to run. He positions himself in front of the pool, declaring his intention to catch Arlong and defeat him, ready to overcome the attacks, while
Hell yeah.
Arlong remains locked onto his position. Luffy taunts Arlong, urging him to emerge from the water, and he notices Luffy's resolve, questioning whether he's given up. Usopp shouts at Luffy to seek cover, warning that a direct hit from Arlong will prove fatal. Nonetheless, he stands firm, devising a makeshift shield by horizontally stretching the fingers of his left hand, leaving Johnny and Yosaku perplexed by his strategy. Arlong accelerates, swimming twice as fast as before as he closes in on Luffy, intent on skewering his heart. He uses his technique to collide with Luffy head-on, propelling him into the air. To the horror of Johnny and Yosaku, Luffy was able to use his finger shield to block Arlong's face and prevent his nose from fatally wounding him. Arlong, at high speed, crashes into the tower while Luffy bounces onto the wall, informing Arlong that his previous attack won't work anymore. However, Arlong takes Luffy by surprise, leaping up from the collision site, wounding him while midair. As he descends towards the surface, he attributes it to luck, and Arlong once again dashes towards Luffy to finish him off.
But
In
he ain't gonna do
response,
shit.
He stretches his fingers to create a giant finger net, ensnaring Arlong to help reduce his speed before clamping his feet together. In retaliation,
You bum ass nigga. You bum ass nigga. We went fishing today.
Luffy moves to stomp
Fuck
on
wrong with
Arlong's
him.
chest, causing him to crash to the ground, inflicting severe damage on him.
Yeah,
While Luffy falls
wince.
towards Arlong's idle body, he ponders if he's dead. Yet in an instant, Arlong's eyes snap open, now more intense and wild than before.
I forgot about Crash Out Arlong.
Jinzo and Nojiko find his gaze unsettling, and even Nami comments on never having seen his eyes like that before. Sanji
I
likens
forgot
Arlong's
how
eyes
he
to
looks
those
when
of
he
a berserk
crashes
sea king,
out.
concluding that Luffy's attack merely infuriated him. Arlong goes berserk, seizing Luffy by the head, twirling him around while proclaiming the perceived inferiority of his species.
Oh my
With
God.
tremendous ease, he forcefully throws him into the building's foundation. Thanks to Luffy's devil fruit powers, the impact leaves him unharmed, just before locking eyes with Arlong as he charges towards him in a heated rage. Luffy narrowly avoids
Yeah,
Arlong's
he's
attack,
done.
skillfully
He's crashed.
using a nearby roof to propel himself upwards. However, as Arlong punches through the building, he retrieves his giant sword from the wall. Setting his sights on Luffy, the sword's name is revealed to be Kiribachi, also known as Shark Saw.
Alright, I ain't made this joke the entire time, but shark guy, sword. Okay, Kisan, Arlong. Okay.
Swinging at Luffy, who dodges, but the
Okay,
sword embeds itself
Kisame.
into the structure,
You're
allowing
not
Arlong
slick.
to somersault and pursue him up
I
to
know-
the main
I
building.
know what
Arlong
this
corners
was,
Luffy
bro.
on an upper level as he leaps into a
Couldn't
window
get
to
dubs
escape
over
as
here, so
Arlong
you wanna
launches
play
an attack.
ninja.
Everyone outside is alerted, particularly Nami, who notices their location on the top floor, realizing that it's where the chart room is stationed. Arlong
Nigga, Kasame couldn't get dubs over here, so alright, you wanna go play ninja a couple years later. Alright, bro. Alright, gang. You just couldn't forget that you can't beat Luffy. So what do? Find a nigga with red eyes. Alright, Arlong. Fuck out. You're a bitch.
the room
Coward.
with bloodlust in his eyes, and Luffy
Coward.
notices an array of papers around him, wondering where they are.
Nigga
Arlong
waited
elucidates
years to
that these
become
are
a
maps
ninja, too.
meticulously crafted
Coward.
by Nami over the past 8 years. He highlights that no one in the world can match her talents, commending her exceptional skill.
Hell yeah,
Disregarding Arlong's
she's her.
rambling, Luffy observes that the pen on Nami's desk is stained with blood. Arlong menacingly holds 2 of his sword's blades at Luffy's neck, expressing his ruthless ambition to obtain all the world's charts. As with these documents, he aims to establish dominance, making the entire world his territory, solidifying control over the seas. He reveals that this island is the stepping stone to his dream, questioning whether Luffy can effectively use Nami. In response, Luffy
And at this very moment, Arlong, like your other henchmen, like Choo Choo Guy, Like the guy that summoned the swords and the guy that threatened Nami. You talked too much. And you brought him in the worst possible situation. You're going to lose this fight. No difficulty now.
Luffy immediately drops the pin, proceeding to cling to one of the sword's blades, immobilizing Arlong's ability to move it. Luffy cracks part of the blade with his bare hand, enraged by Arlong exploiting Nami as a tool. As Luffy breaks apart fragments of Arlong's sword, he confronts him with a probing question, seeking to understand his perspective on Nami. In response, Arlong acknowledges that Nami is excellent at drawing maps for a human, despite her being an inferior species, highlighting her usefulness. He further mentions that he'll cater to her every desire, as long as she continues to do what she loves best, and that's creating maps for him forever, sinisterly declaring that he himself and Nami are shipmates. To his shock, Luffy abruptly starts laying waste to the room, kicking Nami's desk out of the tower. On the outside, the crowd are alerted of something crashing out of the building, surprising them, only to realize it's a desk. Relieved that it isn't Luffy, the desk continues to tumble to the ground, which takes Nami by surprise. Arlong becomes furious at the destruction of Nami's supplies and the maps scattered out of the tower, while Nami continues to watch from down below as Luffy continues his relentless assault.
This nigga Luffy starting to crash, but like in a good way.
When Arlong showed her the cartography room for the first time, just as they collide with the ground in the present time. Arlong then swings his sword at Luffy, who dodges the attack. In this action, he inadvertently destroys more of Nami's maps. Arlong is appalled at the fate befalling the years of his hard work, and recollects the grueling long hours of labor and abuse he subjected Nami to over the years in order to obtain them.
Oh my god, he palmed that girl's head?
For an abuse he subjected Nami to over the years in...
Why did it even have to come to this?
Order to obtain them. Gripping Luffy by the neck, he declares that Nami invested 8 years in creating those maps. Despite Luffy's seething rage, he persists in his relentless destruction of the room without pause. Outside, tears stream down Nami's face as she silently expresses her profound gratitude to Luffy. In the tower, Arlong bites Luffy on the neck, proclaiming his fate to be sealed. In the midst of his own pain, Luffy seizes him by the nose, declaring that even if he may not comprehend the intricacies of fishmen or sea trolls, he knows how to finally help Nami. With resolve, he forcefully breaks Arlong's nose, leading him to collapse onto the floor.
Now that I stamp on everything, I forgot he just breaks this nigga's nose. On everything I forgot he just broke this fuck nigga nose, bro. Oh my god.
Breaks Arlong's nose, leading him to collapse onto the floor.
Finish him.
Adamantly declares that he cannot let this room remain intact, announcing his intention to destroy it. With Arlong aware of his plan, Luffy then uses his strength to extend his leg upward, kicking into the ceiling. With his leg greatly extended,
curb stomp of hell,
Arlong readjusts his nose, dismissing the notion of a human destroying Arlong Park. He prepares to launch an attack, lunging at Luffy, catching him off guard. With Arlong's sharp teeth closing in, Luffy aware prepares to initiate his next move. With a fierce clash, Arlong sinks his teeth into Luffy's body, only to be met with electrifying resistance. Luffy swiftly slams his foot onto Arlong, unleashing a powerful blow that not only inflicts pain, but also causes the very floor beneath them to crack under the impact. Arlong is forcefully propelled downward to each floor in the tower, inevitably crashing him to the bottom, wrecking the exterior, shocking everyone from the outside as they wonder what's happening. In a
burn it down! Yo, monkey freaking Luffy done curb stomped this nigga for a fucking 3 count, bro. Oh my god. Luffy Rollins.
Climactic finish, having crashed to the final floor of the tower, Arlong lies motionless in utter defeat.
And his nose broke again.
Oh, my nose is so unbreakable. Oh, I'm fish people.
You shut your punk ass up, nigga. Your teeth fucked up. Your nose fucked up. And you fucked up, nigga. World champ. One freaking Luffy. One freaking piece. My bad. I called this nigga one. Monkey freaking Luffy. There we go.
Luffy gazes down from above, surveying the aftermath of his decisive attack, with their fight ultimately concluded. The impact results in the entire tower crumbling, and citizens prepare to evacuate to safety, but Nami is reluctant to leave Luffy inside the tower while she's brought to safety by John. With the tower collapsing, her desperate cry echoes moments before it crumbles. With Arlong parked in ruins on the outskirts, Zoro, abruptly awake from his nap, wonders about the source of the commotion. At the building's base, a stunned crowd anxiously observes, eagerly awaiting the winner of the battle, speculating who it could be. Suddenly, a figure is seen in the distance as Luffy emerges from the wreckage to the delight of the crowd. His voice resonates through the air as he calls out to Nami, piercing through the tension, reaching both her and the villagers gathered below. In a proud and resonant declaration, he proclaims Nami as an integral part of his crew, and she complies, responding with heartfelt acknowledgement. Joy envelops the crowd, echoing the exhilarating news of Arlong's decisive defeat. However, the celebration is abruptly interrupted by Nezumi and his men, having observed the fight from afar. He announces that he'll take ownership.
Steal off on this nigga. Steal off on this nigga. Steal off on this nigga. Because what the fuck is he even doing here? Steal off on this nigga. Easy one tap. One tap.
Of all the treasure within Arlong
Easy one tap.
Demanding everyone to surrender their weapons.
Good shit.
Swiftly confronted by Zoro, telling him not to ruin their fun. Within a matter of moments, this leads to a pummeling of him and his men by Luffy and crew. Nami
Easy
approaches,
one tap.
returning Luffy's straw hat before confronting Nezumi, deciding to pay him back for earlier. She fiercely strikes him in the face with her staff, sending him plunging into the nearby water. Upon resurfacing, Nami directs Nezumi to rectify the mess and assist in rebuilding Gosa Village, as he won't receive any treasure, as that belongs to the people on the island. With that settled, she then demands the return of her money, and Nezumi complies. As he leaves, he asserts a warning, asserting that they'll regret crossing him, recalling Luffy's name and position as captain, warning them that something bad will happen, planning to exact his revenge. With Nezumi and his men going, the villagers, unable to contain their excitement, rush to their homes to relay the great news to their loved ones. Meanwhile, at Bell-mère's grave, Nami...
Smoking Arlong pack with an Arlong flag is crazy.
Nojiko and Jinzo reflect on the victory, and Nami inquires with the two how Bell-mère would feel about her becoming a pirate.
Big
Nojiko
Bella's
and
never the
Jinzo
little
voice their
one.
opinions before asking Nami if she'd listen, even if her mom tried to stop her, leaving Nami to agree that she'll do her own
Nami,
thing.
go
In the
smile,
infirmary of the
man.
village, Dr. Nako tends to
All right, now,
Zoro's
Luffy.
wounds.
I mean, all right, Zoro. Now, all shit aside, for the love of God, can you just heal, dog? Like, this is... Dog, you weren't at 100% this entire time, and my chat has been speculating if you could 1v1 Arlong, if you were. And whether they're right or wrong, comment section, the point is, nigga, the idea that it's even somewhat a question, dog, relax just a little bit, bro. Holy shit. This island is free if you're healthy. Please chill a bit.
Wondering why the two don't have a doctor on the ship. Subsequently, at the Navy's 16th branch, Nezumi meticulously compiles a comprehensive report detailing the recent activities of the Straw Hat crew. In his communication with Marine
this nigga a
headquarters,
bigger
he
bitch than the nigga that
labels
has
them
a
as enemies
dad.
of the state. He highlights the
And I know
severity
that
of the
sounded dumb because, like, endless of these characters have a dad, but you know I'm talking about the dude whose dad's in the army, blah, blah. You know who I'm talking about.
threat they pose to the established order, deciding that they must put a price on their captain's head. He categorizes Luffy as a ruthless criminal, warranting a dead or alive status, and urges for the issuance of a global alert about the notorious Straw Hat captain. As night falls over the East Blue, the once dangerous sea regains its peace. The entire island revels in celebration, a happiness that extends into the following night.
Smoke
in this moment,
pack.
everyone embraces the joy of living for the present, cherishing laughter as a shared experience. As everyone continues to celebrate their hard-fought freedom, Luffy unapologetically indulges in a hearty feast, inquiring about a peculiar delicacy that Sanji savors.
What
Sanji,
the fuck is up with Luffy, bro? I say this. Any nigga that think Goku probably eats more, I don't know, man. This Luffy nigga. Look, I think if it's like fucking max bowls of rice, Goku got it. But this nigga just loves, and pause, this nigga just loves meat, bro. Like, this nigga just, like, mutton, lamb chops, pork chop, ribs, bacon, pig feet even. Nigga eats any kind of meat. Turkey, chicken, you name. He don't care, bro.
About a peculiar delicacy that Sanji savored. Sanji, on the other hand, searches for women in the village to flirt with, rushing in the crowd, while Usopp proudly recounts his historic fight against the fishman to the joyous crowd, labeling himself as Captain Usopp. Meanwhile, Jinzo pays his respects at Bell-mère's grave, pouring sake as he speaks to her, recognizing the strength that her daughters have acquired, reminding him of her. He expresses his pledge that they're going to make the most of their lives. In addition, they'll live their lives to the fullest and make the most of it, as dedicated to the memory of the many sacrifices of the lost lives throughout the years. Luffy suddenly appears in his quest for finding the delicacy, and spotting no food, he starts to walk away but is halted by Jinzo. The grave captures his attention, inquiring if someone died, and Jinzo confirms that someone did a long time ago. Luffy offers his condolences in a hilariously failed attempt, but he's corrected by Jinzo that it's condolences, bringing to light on the many dangers Nami will face sailing with him as a pirate. He warns Luffy that if he or his crew do do anything to make her unhappy, he'll kill him, as Luffy tries to interject. But Jinzo loudly makes sure the message was heard, and Luffy solemnly agrees to his terms.
Yes,
In
sir.
the village, Nojiko notices Chabo's lack of sorrow regarding his father's death, to which he responds,
Where is your mother? You've been everywhere in this arc without your mom. Where's your mom?
that dwelling on such thoughts would yield nothing good.
Nigga
In
did
response, she
anything
pinches
but
his cheek,
do what
sparing
was
him from
told.
further
Go to your
teasing.
mother.
Inside the infirmary room, Dr. Nako conveys to Nami that her previous tattoo cannot be entirely removed, mentioning that the scar will always remain. She reminisces about her conversation with Nojiko as kids, describing the agony of being branded with the Arlong Pirates tattoo, shamed to have anyone see it. She thinks back on Nojiko, standing by her as support, having chosen to share a tattoo just like her younger sister. Nami then requests the doctor to tattoo something new in its place, presenting a design on paper. In the town, the party rages on until the following morning of departure of Luffy and his crew. Johnny and Yosaku bid them farewell, resuming their careers as bounty hunters, hoping to meet them again someday. Usopp inquires about Nami's whereabouts, and Zoro speculates that she may not be joining them, upsetting Sanji as Luffy confronts his cook, upset about not finding any food. The villagers, including Jinzo and the doctor, express astonishment upon learning that Nami has left 100 million berries in the village, but Nojiko explains that her sister was content with the prospect of stealing more money later. Nami suddenly appears, announcing for the crew to set sail, alerting the villagers nearby of her location before rushing in their direction. She darts
we ain't gotta
towards
talk
the
to this fuck
Going-Merry,
nigga.
and Jinzo and the villagers are taken aback by her abrupt departure. With an unexpected sense of urgency, she swiftly dashes towards the Going-Merry, leaving both Jinzo and the villagers in a state of surprise and bewilderment. Without saying a word, she makes her way through the villagers before proceeding with a huge leap from the village dock onto the Going-Merry. With a safe landing, Nami drops the wallets and money she took from the villagers, leaving a sense of confusion in the crowd as she elicits a
Come on, man. I remember it right before. I'm sorry. I remembered it as it was happening. That she pickpocketed every fucking party, bro.
look. The villagers erupt with anger as the crew voice their own opinions regarding Nami's actions while they sail away. As the crew sail away, the anger turns into sheer gratitude as they thank them for all they've done for the village. In the crowd, Jinzo reminds Luffy of their promise, which he responds with a thumbs up, and Nami bids the villagers a joyful farewell, claiming that she'll return. The doctor hands Jinzo the piece of paper that Nami provided when giving her a new tattoo, revealing its design, a tangerine attached to a pinwheel.
Okay, Nami, that's tough. Okay, Nami, that's tough. That's tough. I fucks with that. I fucks with that, Nami. I fucks with that. That right there is tough. Now that right there is fucking tough.
Nojiko, close by, notices that Jinzo has removed his pinwheel, and he explains that he no longer needs it. When Nami was an infant, Bell-mère playfully scolded Jinzo for scaring her with his intimidating face. In response, Jinzo adorned his hat with the pinwheel, which made Nami laugh. Under the backdrop of clear skies and gentle winds, the pinwheel and a tangerine find their place at Bell-mère's graveside, marking the conclusion of the arc for Arlong Park.
Damn, bruh. Apparently the writer is Oda. I don't know how to say his name. Shout out to them, man. Arlong Park, the manga. When I compare it to the anime, I don't have that much to talk about because I'm going to be blunt. It's scary the same. Like, I don't think anything was changed. If it was, and I misspoke, certainly comment 282 had fucking corrected it. It was scary similar. However, just reliving the Arlong Park arc, and hopefully my reaction was entertaining for you all. I was very fucking tired, I'm not gonna lie. But it's just damn, bro. This arc still is like somewhat of an emotional roller coaster, bro. I still think to this day that Nami Zoro is my two favorite backstories. Shout out to Sanji's as well. But it's not even just about a comparison. So at the end of the day, where I'll give One Piece its credit is they do a damn good job making me care about every single crewmate, bro. Even fucking Squidward I care about. Like, I never would have thought when I was watching this show up to this point that I'd give a fuck about Nami. And now it's like Nami is instantly, hey, you make her cry, nigga, I'm sliding. Fuck Luffy, nigga. Like, what's up, bro? Who made Kim cry just now? The fuck going on, man? But hey, next notorious arc that we finish or whatever, if the team chat or anything is like compare it to the manga, we'll do this. Let me know if you guys like this idea of just like spinning the block on like animes that I've seen and just comparing it to the manga. I think that'll be a long-term series as well. We're definitely doing that in Dragon Ball regardless of if you guys want that or not, but you guys are gonna be entertained. entertained. Anyway, take care, stay blessed. Follow up the Twitch. You would have seen this live. Stay awake, to be honest, because nigga, it was 2:50. We finished in this video basically at 3 a.m., bro. Real niggas, man. And shout out to the real niggas that hit the subscribe button on YouTube for, again, free. We appreciate that as well. We're on the way to 94K. Take care, stay blessed. We'll see you next time.